And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of the HSL, the Hispanic StarCraft League Group C. I'm, of course, just VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to some more Hispanic StarCraft. Let's go. For those of you that weren't here yesterday, this is the beginning here of the HSL. This is a new initiative, a new endeavor by the Spanish-speaking community here to host a league, to host somewhat of a GSL for the Spanish-speaking community. Let us go. I say specifically Spanish-speaking. This is not Latino America. It includes them, but it is Latino America alongside Spain as a nation as well. So we have players from all around going to be competing, going to be taking part, and we have an exciting group ahead of us. Let's go. Let us go as we switch our teams over. As a reminder as well, none of the group stage is casted live. It is all played ahead of time. Replays are submitted, and we are covering these matches via replays. The playoffs will be live. We can confirm that. So the playoffs are going to be next month. The playoffs are in April, but until then we are jumping into the group stage, and let's switch our scenes over and catch up on the group itself. See in the chat, hello Psycons in the chat, as hello Seagrail as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Hola, hola, bienvenidos. We have Group C. Now this is a round robin group. We have a lot of matches ahead of us. We won't be casting every match, but we have a good portion of them here. We have, thankfully as well, some nice variety. We have our competitors here. We have a player from Spain. We have Ares from Spain. We have Temi from Peru. We have Cham from Mexico, and we have XionS from Peru as well. And Borao from Argentina. Oh my god, to end the night. So we have a stacked group. Again, it is round robin, so everyone played against everyone. A lot of matches, a lot of series to be casted, but we have these here featuring Group C. Let's go. Let us go. As a reminder as well, these are best of threes. These are all best of threes, but all matches are played. So regardless if it's a 2-0, sorry, I should say regardless if it's a 3-0 or not, all matches are going to be played out regardless of the scoreline. And we will kick things off here with our ZVT, with Ares and Temi facing off in that Zerg versus Terran matchup. Here we go. So we are going to be jumping in. As a reminder as well, there are a lot of groups when it comes to the HSL. I believe there's like 7+ groups. There's a lot to get into, a lot to cover, a lot to cast. We are going to be covering Group D tomorrow, and next week we'll be wrapping up the group stage, or at least catching up on a lot of the group stage. Fun fact, the group stage has yet to conclude. There's still matches ongoing, so hopefully they do wrap up by the time we get to casting. Otherwise, we might postpone for the next 2 weeks instead of next week. We'll see. We'll see. For now, though, we're jumping in. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Protoss player from land of Spain. It is Ares. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the... we do have the blue Terran player, the blue Terran himself from land of Peru. It is Temi. Also, my apologies, I had assumed that Ares was Zerg, but looks like, never mind, at least for this series, is rocking that Protoss race instead. Okay, never mind. Not kicking things off with a TVZ, with a TVP instead. I'm ready, I am excited. We'll see if that continues to be the trend throughout the course of the series, or if we do mix it up over time. Ares is going to be starting things off with a proxy pylon across the map, going for the probe scout into the main base. We can see here one gas opener, single gas out of Temi, so going for something more economic, going for a Rax expand. So economic opener out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, a cheeky start out of our Protoss. Now, he isn't immediately going for the proxy gateway, so he isn't immediately going for proxy zealot into adept into stalker aggression, but he can throw down a proxy later on down the line, or at least use this to reinforce. So there is aggressive potential here for Ares, as he does pull away. Is gonna pull away. So I'll just fix up the out of game race there. That he does pull away. Meanwhile, do you see Jukadin? We have Temi. Temi, of course, getting his natural base up and running, and it looks like we are making use of this pylon, a bit of a more delayed proxy, but a proxy nonetheless. The probe has arrived, and we are setting up for, I would imagine, oh, a proxy robo, not a proxy gateway. We are going to commit. Okay, you have my attention here. As we are going to move, we're going to double down. Back at home, again, nothing here. There's nothing going on. There's no expansion. Temi does scout the lack of a nexus. That is a tell that something is wrong, something is amiss. We do have the bunker being thrown down. We're scouting for proxies, and we will check the proxy location. Proxy double robo. Okay. 2 robos here. Pylon, sorry, the probe is going to be shut down. Pylon's on the way, and from here we can rally. But alas, add-ons are still in production. Remember, this was a delayed factory. This was a later CC. So alas, a more economic build means that there's less to work with. Rough stuff for Temi, but at least he knows what's going on. Reaper moves out to harass across the map. Does run into the Stalker. Does have to calm down, pull away. Immortal production has begun. Now, with 2 robos, this means you can make it Immortal and a Prism really early on. And the War Prism is going to be a big factor when it comes to microing, when it comes to controlling the units, reinforcing, and of course, blinking back. Second bunker's on the way. Alas, Immortals, they are bunker busters. They're built to bring them down. There it is, second Immortals in production. Going for the second Immortal first. Before the Prism, I mean. Meanwhile, 1-1-1. This feels a little bit greedy to go for the starport before a second Rax or before a factory, considering it's an all-in. There we go. The Immortal is waddling forward. I mean, true. With this, you can actually make a Viking. No, actually, yeah, I do like this. We can get a Viking. The Viking can shut down the Prism. Prism is on the way, as we did mention. Meanwhile, the first bunker. Oh no, the repairs! Repair! No, they're on the wrong bunker! First bunker does go down. Alas, the SCVs, the boys, they did not care. Focusing on the other, and the second bunker is going to fall as well. Again, 2 Immortals, they will just shut this down. Viking is in production. Boys are being pulled. Tank is going to be able to siege up. Does siege the tank. Ooh, massive tank shots going off. And the Prism should be shut down. Yeah, it's going to be targeted by even the Marines. Barely goes for the tank. The tank does survive. Barely not. But the Immortals are so low here. Immortal goes down. Miscontrol there from Adez. Does miscontrol. Does bleed. Oh no! It does lose both. Oh my god. Both Immortals and the Prism. And with that, Temi, he is holding. He's surviving. Immortal is waddling in. Hold on, I got this. Bam. Does waddle in. Cleans up the Marines. Viking forced to land. Alas, without bunkers, without the tank here, that one Immortal is doing so much. Boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled. Bunkers on the way. We're buying enough time. Yeah, the Immortal's low enough. It's low enough. Temi, he's still barely holding on. Still barely holding. Making more Vikings. Making more bio. Spots the additional Immortals. The problem here is that there's just, yeah, the bunker's not going to finish. The bunker's not going to finish. There is no defense of the natural. Boys being pulled away. Back at him, Adez is expanding. And with 3 Immortals, they're breaking down that front door. One of the Immortals is very low, though. Immortals are low. Tank finally does arrive. Vikings, they can lift. They can lift. They can lift. There we go. They can. Oh no! Not again! Not again! One Immortal goes down to the War Prism, and alas, Adez, he will lose far too much here. That's what, 5 Immortals going down? Assuming that this one does also fall. Yeah, that's the 5th Immortal. Thankfully, no more proxy. No, we're not going to be reinforcing, but it's an expensive proxy location as well. Another Immortal's on the way, but this should be shut down. Yeah, this should be shut down. Back at home, what do we have to work with? We have gateways in production. Remember, no Twilight Council, no Blink, no Charge, no nothing. Yeah, there's a cancel on the Immortal. And Temi will defend. Whew, okay, now we gotta take stock. We have to take stock here as what's been going on. We have a 3rd CC in production. We have 2 Raxes. Alas, no Tech Lab, no Stim. Likewise, we do have a Cyclone on the way. The Cyclone will help. Will support. And with this army, we can counterattack. We can counterattack. Shield batteries on the way. There's just the one Immortal. There's a handful of Stalkers. Warp Gate is done. We'll see what Temi can accomplish across the map. I wouldn't be opposed to even sieging here outside of the main and going for these pylons, going for the Cyber Core. There's potential. Unless Temi will keep some of his forces back at home, just moving out with the drop. Does move out. Does move out, boosting into the main. And so far, getting quite a bit done here. The boys are being pulled. Oh, God. The boys are being pulled. The medevac is here to support. And alas, every probe is going to fall down. Oh, my God. Brutal economic damage here. That's going to be 17. 17 probe kills. One was killed across the map, so 16. 16 workers go down. The economy is crippled. And Temi is going to run away with this. Run away with this. Should not lose anything else here. I mean, what can we accomplish at episode 2 shade into the main with the Cyclone to defend? We go to 3rd CC. We're up in workers, up in bases, up in production. The one chance here, the one comeback mechanic. What do we go for? The Dark Shrine. True. Dark Shrine is on the way. But because of the triple orbital, there's more mules. Oh, sorry, I should say there's more energy for scans. There's more energy for those scans. It is that last Hail Mary play. Yo, we got safety turrets in production. Let's go. Turret in the natural, turret in the main. Did scout the Twilight Council, but didn't quite confirm what was the follow-up. Is going to be charge. Makes sense. So we can warp in Dark Templar. If there's detection, they can morph into Archons. Looks like the Zealots. And this can still muster together an all-in. But it's going to have to be. Have to be that all in. 3rd base now being taken. Safety turret on the way. Here come the Dark Templar. It's gonna be 4 of them. 4 DCs moving out. That is looking to expand and get a 3rd. That's crazy. Okay. We're gonna try to macro out of this. Not going for the all in. Going for the expand instead. Bold move. Now, Temi should be staying back home until we finish off these upgrades. We have a stim, combat shields, +1, because of shell. All the bio upgrades are finishing up. Spots a Dark Templar. Should have a scan. And does. He has that scan, shuts down the Dark Templar. And now we can counterattack. Now would be the time to push. We have more turrets being thrown down. Just to ensure that back at home we are safe. Ghost Academy is on the way. And holding onto the store base is not going to happen. Yes, we have some charge lots, but there's only 4 of them. Shield batteries, there's only 1 in position. The others are further back. That is, bait out with those mine shots. Not bad. Does bait them out. There's a cancel. And Temi, he denies the warp in. Depowers the shield battery. He can just stim in. He can stim and he can win. The Immortal was barely standing. The 2 shield batteries, they are coming into play. Oh, there's just too much firepower here. There's too much DPS. There's too much damage outputs. Cleaning up all the Zealots. Takes down the Immortal. GG gets called and Temi will take a lead in the series 1-0. GG. GG, well played. Does take a lead, and oh, interesting. Okay. So I assume that Adez was a Zurich player, and maybe, but coming into this, looks like Adez has been opting to switch up races, So it has been race switching, and we'll see if Adez can recover here. Coming into our next game. Oh, my apologies. I say race switching. Random. Oh, they're playing. That makes more sense. So they are playing random, and they're rolling as Terran here in game number 2. We have a mirror matchup. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran himself. from land of Spain, it is Ades. I should say the random player rolling Terran. I don't know how strong his races are. We'll find out. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player from land of Peru, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Temi, leading the series 1-0. Here we go. As the SCV does move out across map real fast and real quick, and we are most likely setting up for a proxy. SCV scouts this early on are not really a thing in TVT, bearing in mind that Temi does not know what race is up against, is a random opponent, and of course random players should not necessarily say their race, so it is in the dark. And here comes that Rax. Going to be one at home, one across the map, so it's going to be 2 Rax Reaper. This is very middle of the road. This is not too committed. This can, though, punish a more economic build. Speaking of economic build, Temi is going Rax Expand once again. Economic opener out of our blue Terran player, which means Ades has the opportunity to get some damage done. And if he can kill the first Reaper, that could be it. That could be game. So a very risky moment here for Temi. Temi, he's going to SCV scouts. With this worker scout, if he sees the gases, no, never mind. He's going to be locked out. He's going to be locked out of the main base. He will see nothing except for the race of his opponent. True. So you can argue that the SCV scout, of course, is worth it here, as he doesn't know what he's up against. Confirms no natural. Can rule out Zerg. Goes into the main and does confirm Terran. And he has to be so careful with that Reaper. Oh, as we're going 3 racks? Okay, interesting. I mean, the wall back at home, this is inefficient when it comes to like 3 racks Reaper, but in a way it does hide the build, so that you could argue that's worth it. He's looking for proxies. I mean, after what happened in game 1, I don't blame him. Does check the linear third location, and will eventually check the triangular third. The Reaper's out. Reaper is out. Backing up. Does confirm. Has to get out of here. Has to pull away. Ooh, does pull back. And boys are going to have to be pulled. Yeah, he's going to have to pull the boys. And has to protect his own Reaper. He's getting called out. Oh, does pull away. Bunker's been thrown down. So far, good response by Temi. Again, he has pulled some too many SCVs. There we go. Has to pull back. Has to go back to mining. Does have to go back. So far, Temi, he's holding on. Bunker on both locations, but nothing to fill them. Oh no, can he get in? No, he cannot. Cannot get into the bunker. Marine goes down. Bunker's under fire. Second Marine is going to get picked off as well. Doesn't get to the bunker. Yeah, army's out of position. Late response there by Temi. Late reaction. And these Reapers are wreaking havoc. They're wreaking havoc. They're getting SCV after SCV. Oh, this is already getting out of hand. 9 SCV kills. Yeah, it's too much. 10 worker kills already. 3 Marines. 12 worker kills. And behind this, Ades has double the economy. Throws down a CC. Getting to his own economy here. Into his own natural. Reapers that go back into the mineral line. Army out of position. Ideally, you do want this bunker to cover this Reaper cliff, and we see that without that, I mean, the Reapers are just abuse it. They abuse this location. Does get a Reaper. That's still 14 SCVs. With this many Reapers, we can overwhelm the Hellion. Hellion can be overwhelmed. Yeah, he's going for it. He is going for it. GG gets called, and with that, Ades ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Okay. We are going to that ace match, and we'll see how this story ends. We'll see where this takes us, as we're going into game number 3. Going to be loading into Frostline. And remember, Ades is playing random, so we've seen his Protoss, we've seen his Terran. Do we get to see his Zerg, or do we get a repeat of another race? And does he have other builds up his sleeve? So far, he's been very cheesy, hyper aggressive. And I'm sure that's going to continue as we load into the ace match. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh. Do you have to fix that up? Bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have the Spanish Zerg player, the Red Zerg. tying up the series, forcing the ace match. It is XionS. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Terran player, the blue Terran. It is Temi, aka Chupetin. Aha, let's go. As you just see, a much earlier SCV scout. There we go, confirmed Zerg, but very early scout. You can see that Temi, he's adapting to his opponent over time and is getting a better read as to what's going on. Does go for a much earlier scout, does confirm the hatch first. So hatch first here out of XionS is going hatch pull delayed gas. Interesting, delayed gases here from our Zerg player. With a later gas, we could see maybe even an earlier third expansion. We could go gasless, true. Yep, there we go, gasless. So, very greedy build here by the Zerg player. Oh no, my apologies, scouting. Drone scouting is so uncommon, but okay. He's going for a drone scout, confirming there is no proxy. Usually you rely on your second overlord for that, so this is inefficient by XionS, as the second overlord is now moving in position, but I guess just a little bit paranoid just because of how the series has progressed. He's like, oh, he's Terran, he's going to be proxying, right? I mean, you're an animal. There you go, 6 lings on the way. Again, this is an earlier spawning pool, and the goal of these lings should be to delay the expansion. Maybe even force a cancel, but at least delay the CC. The goal would be to avoid this Reaper. Reaper moves out, and the lings should be skirting around the edge of the map and trying to get past. Ooh, as we have more lings on the way, with this heavy of a commitment, making more lings, this shouldn't just be to delay, this should be to force a cancel. This should be a cancellation on that CC. Reaper gets spotted. The lings, they know where the Reaper is, they should be avoiding it, but unless they just run right into it instead. Oh no! Oh, they get us around. That should not have happened. They get us around here at the steam vents, and Temi cannot hold on to the natural. It's not going to happen. He has 1 Marine, 2nd Marine's on the way. That's going to be a cancel. That is brutal. Ay. These small little missteps you cannot afford here. Not at this level of play. Not in StarCraft. Yeah, the lings should be enough, and that's going to be a massive win here for XionS. Again, with 2 Marines, there's no protecting this. Not with an additional link flood. Boys, I mean, true. Well, the boys have to be pulled. They have to be pulled. And with pulling the boys, we will save the CC. It's going to cost us a lot of workers, a lot of losses. Lost mine time, I should emphasize. Oh, there we go. Does protect his Marines. And he holds. Whew, he should be okay. Now, this did deal a lot of damage, as all these workers were not mining, but at least we saved the natural. 3rd TCs on the way. Good crisis management here out of Temi. This was still a rough start, and he doesn't know what's going on. What's scary here is that there could be a Roach follow-up. That's what I would be most concerned by, is a Roach all-in as a follow-up. The Reaper was killed. He has to rely on his Hellions for the follow-up scout. Speaking of Roaches, there it is. Like, this is kind of like the big next, like, power move here from XionS, or the next big power spike. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to verbiage. Alas, our Terran player needs to confirm this to get into his own Cyclones, like tank production. Banshee even is going for the 1-1-1. And we'll see if he can recognize whether or not XionS is even droning. Now, we can see that he is. He is droning up. He is taking his gases. And because of the gas-less opener, no link speed. Bear that in mind. 0 link speed here for XionS. He is going for those Roaches. Temi back at home. Hellions have arrived. We need to scout. These Hellions, more than anything, they need to confirm the tech. They need to confirm what exactly is going on. And already they confirm no link speed. That's a bit of a tell. There is no link speed. Technically, this could be something crazy like fast lair into fast spire. We have delayed link speed on the way. Hellions move in. And they need to get eyes on the saturation. They confirm the Roach one at least, so he's aware of the Roaches. Banshee's on the way. But he needs to figure out whether or not XionS is droning. As for now, he isn't, so he's not making anything right now. Roaches revealed. Hellions, they don't get into the mineral line. We can see XionS is saturating his 3rd base, taking more gases. He's getting up to 4 gases back at home. and droning up his third. So it is, he's macroing Lair at the third base. Not my first choice, but okay. Lair's at the third. Getting into +1. From here, he could go for a 3-base Roach all-in. He can just go up to 60 workers and max out on Roach Ravager. Once again, it's on the Terran to confirm whether or not there's a 4th expansion and how hard the Zerg player drones. 1-1 is on the way, getting into bio. Let's go. He's selling that potential. Head into the mineral line. Up! 3 drones get roasted, not bad. 5 drones. They come in a little bit too soon. They do line up. Alas, the Hellion volleys on the Queen. They do get wasted. Some rough Hellion volleys. They make their way into the natural. Once again, boys being fooled. We're on move command, and alas, we don't get the shot off. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a misrally there from the Hellions, or rallied into the mineral line. Now this holds. It does hold, does defend. That was some okay damage there from the Hellions. Unfortunately, Hellion cannon is reset. The Banshees are still at home. They should soon be moving out. Alas, looks like they're waiting for Cloak. Cloak is still on the way. This Cloak was delayed. Building up, getting into bio. Ades is making roaches. This could just be safety roaches here. 4th base being thrown out for larva. Yeah, safety roaches. Safety roaches. Ades is still droning. Still saturating. So far, Temi building up. I do think that this is a mistake. Cloak is done. I was saying earlier that, you know, the Banshees were staying at home because they're waiting for Cloak. Cloak has been up for quite some time. These Banshees, they need to be active across the map. There are spores in position, that is true, but we still need to get confirmation of the timing of the 4th base, picking away at Queens, picking away at the Roaches and the Ravagers. We need some activity here. Banshees, they finally do move out. This is delayed for Temi. It's going to be delayed. But thankfully he's being active. We have the Spire on the way, so Ades is going into mutas. Temi does split the main army, which is going to force a tank response. So buy a tank. Second factory is done. 4 CCs on the way. Temi is macroing up. He's not going for a 3-base all-in. There is no detection overseer with the Queen. So again, there's like opportunities here to like get damage done on the Queens. Instead, just going for tumors. Still value. Still gaining value. And we are building up. And the biggest concern coming into this is the lack of scouting of the Spire. Like, the Spire is unseen, undetected. Spire is now done. The Roach Ravager army hasn't been getting larger. Ades has been banking off of mutas. He is poking. The move out is spotted. Banshees, they can chip away at the army. And Ades, he's making 12 more roaches. He's not making mutas. He looks for the 4th, doesn't find it. Oh. Cloak. It's activated. He does pull away. Spots the main army. So far, just keeping tabs on the rotations. Ades does have money to go for a massive muta switch, but is not going for it yet. Just maintaining map control. Oh, the Wilds! Ooh, Wilds take down the Banshee. And Temi's on it. I mean, he saw the army. He's not in position. Yeah, he's getting caught out of position here. The army does head towards that 3rd. Temi caught behind the army, instead pushing up a ramp. Oh, this should not have happened. Yeah, and without the Vials, they crash out on the fire. Tanks are on the low ground. These Ravagers, they can just pull back. If they pull back, they pull away, out of range of the tanks. They get into the mineral line. And Temi will lose everything here. The Marines, tanks trying to reposition. And that's going to be 24 SV kills. 24 SCVs. Files on the tanks. Not like this. Adez doesn't have to push into the tank, so this is a bit of an overextension here from Adez. But alas, he will reset anyway. He resets the tank count, cleans everything up. And remember, at any moment, Adez can just go into mutas. He can just go into mutas. So unfortunately, Temi was just not where he needs to be. We'll lose another tank. 4CC getting up and running. Supplies are relatively close. A big reason for this is that Adez never droned. He only droned up to 55. Like, very low drone count here for the Zerg player. Very low economy, even for a 3-base all-in. So Temi does hold. True. It was not pretty. It was not a pretty hold, but does survive. He's throwing down more CCs. Okay. Throwing down more orbitals. Right now he needs workers more than anything. To build up his work account once again. He's only making 2 SCVs at a time. So very low SCV count. But he's still in this. Still in this, getting into 3-3. But yeah, his macro cycles have been lackluster. You can see, despite his bank, despite not being supply blocked, he's not actually producing from all of his production buildings. Likewise, not making all of his SCVs. Just now making 3. And this is giving time to Adez to rebuild himself. Taking up the hive. Hits the planetary. Temi out of position. Do we go for the base trade? He has to make a choice. He's turning around. He's turning back around. Planetary is gonna fall. He's racing back home. Once again, out of position. Oh, we'll lose one of his tanks. And this is all just better for Adez. Like, he's forcing back the army. He already killed the expansion. He got the mineral line, catching reinforcing tanks. Oh no! Gets more tanks. And Temi starts chasing the Zerg army. So you'll lose another tank. Now again, what's keeping Temi in this game is still the lack of saturation. Like, Adez still does not really have the best economy. Still on 61 workers, that is still less than a 3-base economy. So it's still not looking ideal. Infestor has arrived. We have a fungal. We have fungals available. Not quite connecting. Temi, I mean, thanks to his rebuilt CCs, he's able to retake his 4th base. He's making workers. You could argue he has a better economy with mules. And he's getting into 3-3. And again, Adez, he's just now droning up, at least somewhat. Ooh, I worry that Temi's going to be forced back home again. Yeah, Adez does hit the planetary. Temi, he can go for the expansions. He can go for the hive even. Sorry, the lair. Wait, what? We built a second lair. I mean, true. I mean, the hive is going to be safe because that we're going for the base trade. We're going for the base trade. Planetary force to lift. Takes down one expansion. And from here, we should just keep going. Instead, Adez. Okay, I was going to say he was on to turn around, but no, he commits. So should the Terran. Stimming on forward. Pushing into the bases. Unfortunately, Temi is unaware of bottom right. Doesn't see the expansion. And he's the siege on the high ground. Yes, the siege up back at home. There we go. Does siege up. Takes down the natural. Oh no. Partial tier on the first tank. They do not connect. Infestor goes down. No fungal growths. And he's going for the tech. He's going for the kill. As Adez does have somewhat of a bank. But we'll lose this hive, and Adrenal's going to be denied. Ooh, Ultras, they just began. We have 3 Ultras on the way. they're going to be 0-1 ultras, 0 melee, and +1 carapace. So they're going to be quite squishy, actually. Meanwhile, we do see the main base is defended. Third base still left. Oh, the ACVs! No! Workers are going to be shut down. And where do we head from here? They're working towards top left. Going for another expansion. I do favor Temmie in this base trade if he's able to siege. Like, I'm concerned that he's going to get picked away or picked away at and picked apart. But in a head-on fight, I do have to favor the Terran. What's he see? Oh no! Yeah, this is what I was worried about. Reinforcements getting caught out. He will lose 2 tanks. Two tanks go down. Ultras have arrived. There's Xion Siege! Does on siege at the wrong moment. Tanks, they do, sorry. Ultras, they do dive in. They force a lift. Tanks go down. And he does save his army. Does pull away. Does pull away. You have a fusion core in production. I don't think that's quite necessary, but okay. Like, even Banshees would be fine here. We don't need BCs, but sure, sure. Getting into the fusion core. I still do favor the Terran in a head-on fight, but that's predicated on whether he's sieged up and the positioning, of course. Ades does have an expansion, rebuilding a spawning pool, getting a lair. Oh, the vials. Meanwhile, likewise, Temmie has his planetary up and running. Ah, it was spotted. Yeah, it was spotted. Ades is going for the planetary. Meanwhile, this is a massive army. Even unsieged, I think Temmie can just A-move, I'll be honest. I think he can just stim and win through this. We'll have to target fire the ultras. But again, even then, remember, these are 0-1 ultras. Or 0-1. They have no kindness plating, they have no melee upgrades, they have +1 carapace, vials. Oh, they do connect. Oh god, the vials do connect. But despite that, yeah, the ultras, they melt. The ultras, they get one shots. GG gets called, and Temmie will take the series 2-1, taking down Ades. GG. Hi. GG, well played. A very scrappy series, very scrappy Game 3 as well, very intense. Temmie had some strong moments. Likewise, though, he was caught out of position like 2 or 3 times at least, like in some big moments as well, in a big way. So some really rough moments there for Temmie, but he was able to more importantly focus on his army and build up his forces. Remember, by the end, we had our Zerg player who had +1 carapace and +2 range. Meanwhile, we had 3-3 from the Bioterran. We had 3-3 upgrades for the Terran player. Like, he was on point of his upgrades. He was on point when it came to expanding as well. His main issue, I would say, is map vision and map control. He was having a really hard time keeping eyes on the rotations of the main army, the rotations of the Zerg player, and that was hurting him more than anything. Outside of that, though, GG, well played. Temmie does take it, and we are going to be following Ades into the rest of his matches. Here we go. Up next, we have Ades going up against his ex-opponent, up against El Chamaco himself. Let's go. Cham, of course, is in this group. Cham is the big name. He's the heavy hitter in Group C. He is the one to bring down. We'll see if anyone can. We'll see if anyone can make Cham bleed, as we are going to be following him into his series versus Ades. Here we go. As a reminder, Ades is a random player, so that is going to be a bit of an X factor coming into these matches. Let's go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Frostline, we have our red Terran player from, or I should say, the red random player, rolling Terran from land of Spain. It is Ades. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player from land of Mexico, representing XionS Esports. It is Cham. As Cham did recently announce that he was joining a new team, that it was joining XionS specifically for HSL. After HSL, after the league finishes, I don't know if XionS will continue to support Cham, but for the time being, they are, of course, there for El Chamaco. They're there for him. As, Ades looks like he's going to be opening up 2-Rax Reaper. Looks like a 2-Rax Reaper opener out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, Cham does open up hatch first. Remember, Cham doesn't really know what he's up against. It could be Protoss, Terran, or Zerg. So far, standard opener. Is going to be relying on his overlords to confirm what exactly is going on, and again there is that second Rax. Now this should be 2-Rax Reaper, this could be 3-Rax Reaper with a hidden 3rd Rax in the main base. 3-Rax Reaper is viable and is possible, and I would not put it past Adez based on what happened in the first series. He is hyper cheesy, hyper aggressive. We have not seen a macro. Even in that last game, which did go into Hive Tech, he was stuck on like 60 drones at most. Like, he really didn't drone, he really didn't saturate. He was all in the entire game, essentially. But so far, he does fully wall off. Fully walls off, 2-Rax Reaper. We'll see where he takes us from here. Meanwhile, big shout to Pecoeta. Papi, thank you so much. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much, Pecoeta, for resubscribing with Twitch Prime for 5 months. Almost half a year of support. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. The pants weren't even in the room. The pants, they were out of the house. Lost to the void. Where did they go? They're gone, papi, they're gone. So hello, get you in the chat. Get that, ¿cómo estás? Jay as well, did notice. Good to see Jay in the chat. Good to see you. So now Reaper does poke in. Does poke forward. Of course, Cham did confirm it was Terran. He confirmed it was 2-Rax Reaper. With this, we do have link speed on the way, Queens are in production, and we'll see if Cham can maintain the 3rd base. Now, the purpose of 2-Rax Reaper is to force a cancel on the 3rd, but Adez is spending a lot of time with the natural. He rotates towards the triangular 3rd base, but soon should check the linear 3rd. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Cham. As he doesn't check the 3rd, goes into the main base Queens, they keep up with the rotations. And Cham, he's getting away with his 3rd expansion. That should not have happened. Ooh, gets a Reaper. Gets a Reaper as well. Adez down to 2 Reapers, and 2 Reapers they can't really threaten. They cannot really threaten my... Oh no! Oh, bit of miscontrol. Reaper gets sent in. Bit of a misrally, I should say. And with that, Cham, he's perfectly fine. He's safe and sound. Now we see Adez doesn't quite check. There we go, force back. Now confirms there's a hatchery, and he wasn't able to do anything about it. Again, the goal of 2-Rax Reaper... Here we see it didn't really achieve anything, but the goal is to move out, is to contain the Zerg player and to deny the 3rd, but he never checked, or I should say he checked too late, and the 3rd base gets up and running. 3rd gets up and running. Cham gets away with greed. This was greedy to go for the 3rd base despite scouting the initial opener, but he got away with it. Did get away with it in the end. And from here, yeah, Adez is in a rough position. He will lose the final Reaper back at home, turning this into a 2-1-1. Factories on the way into Starport, into Stim. But Cham is looking very comfortable. And as we settle into our first game of the series, a big shout out to Jerry Curl in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jerry Curl 667 for also subscribing to Twitch Prime for the 2nd month on a 1-month streak as well. Thank you, Papi. Thank you for the support. Do appreciate it. Do always appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. As we're here with our 2nd day of the HSL, of the Hispanic Star League, or I guess the Hispanic StarCraft League. Yesterday we were casting Special, we were casting Juanito. Today, casting El Chamaco. Nice spread here with the Lings. He's looking for any kind of move out, any kind of drop play. Speaking of, the medevacs are not coming, going Viking first. Ooh, okay, interesting. So usually a 2-1-1, what we would see here is a reactor on the factory into add-on swap, into 2 medevacs, into a 16 Marine medevac drop. Double medevac drop. That's usually what this leads into. Here, instead, Tech Lab on the factory into tank production, into Viking first, into a 3rd TC. This is more of a defensive build, a defensive setup. This means that the stim timing isn't really doing anything. This means that Cham can freely drone. He can freely drone up, get into double Eva chamber, Balian nest, into a lair, into a 4th base. Cham is happily droning, happily saturating, and Adez isn't really being too threatening. He had a timing, he had a stim timing available to him, but he's not really making use of it. He's staying back home instead, going for a 3rd TC. Cham doesn't know this. He's not fully aware. He's just looking for any kind of move out. Cham does make a safety amount of lings. And if he sees a move out, he'll morph in Bailing. Speaking of, here comes that bio. Cham does spot this. Bailing speed has begun. Instantly, 14 lings in response. Bailing's a morph in as soon as he sees the army. But I'm a little bit concerned that Ades, he's just moving out to expand. Like, Cham is getting ready for a push that isn't really coming. Scan into the main. Doesn't see much. Cham ready for a counterattack as soon as the army moves out. Cham has to replace that ling. It does replace it.
The warriors have engaged the enemy.
Nice. God damn it, Eva. But yeah, Cham is in position. Again, he's at every single main attack path. And he's waiting. He's like, mate, can you move out? Can you can I Bane bust, please? Back at home, Cham, he's droning. Infestation bit, that's gonna be for the hive tech. Oh. Cham, he keeps the ling alive. Ades still doesn't push. Cham, he's waiting for the moment. And there it is. Ades, he finally does move out. Cham should be activated. Waiting to confirm. Creep. Yeah, we'll confirm the army. We'll confirm the positioning. Army gets spotted. Cham, he is preparing. Building up more Ling Bane. There it is. There comes a run by. Run by slips in. The wall is open. And he will get the tank. Bailing's up. Don't quite make it into the mineral line, but he does get one tank. And does cause a distraction. The army slims back home. SV is going to be going down. And Cham is ready for this. Up. He's so far on creep as well. He's overstimmed. We haven't even fought and he's heavily overstimmed. Calm down, Ades. Calm down. SCV still, Link still popping off. Finally cleaned up. Ades, he's deep on creep. There was no scan. And Cham is just going to surround. Just going to collapse on this. There's another stim from the bio. We'll clean this up. Mass transfuse, keeping the queens alive. And Cham is going for the kill. He's going for the kill. He swallows up the army. Back at home, what is it to defend? There's two tanks. There's two tanks, a couple of marines. And that's not going to be enough. Cham will overwhelm. There's a planetary as the third. My god. God damn it. There is the planetary, but last tank's going to be surrounded. There's just not enough supports. And Cham, he just ignores the planetary. Goes straight for the natural. I mean, the planetary explains why there was no scan, right? Because there was no orbital. GG gets called, and Cham will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG will play. Cham will take a lead in the series. Ades, I will say, had definitely opportunities in the early game with 2x Reaper, but again, 2x Reaper is a very aggressive opener and needs to get damage done early on. And again, the goal of 2x Reaper is to deny the third. I say deny, delay. To delay the third base for as long as possible, and to contain the Zerg player on 2 bases, and to force lanes, and to force less workers. But alas, we saw that it was just a late realization of where the third was taken, and a late scout, and the Reapers were shut down early on. Like, Cham was still looking very much so in control. Very in control. And with that, that leads us into game 2. Leads us into game number 2, and we'll see what Ades lands on this time. As a reminder, rolling random. He's rolling random, and he will land on Zerg. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of... oh god, Jesus. Top left-hand corner, Whistles of Gold, we have our red Zerg player, random rolling Zerg for the land of Spain, going for the 12 pool. It is Ades. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of Mexico, representing Xeritus Esports. It is a Cham. Here we go, the 12 pool is on the way. I'm curious if we go for a 12-11, as we go for the 12 pool initially, but we are droning up behind this, so it looks like a regular 12 pool. 12 pools are not typically all in. There are 12 pool drone pools, where you just pull the boys with your 12 pool and you just commit and you go for a spine rush. That is possible. That is viable, that is a build. Otherwise, a 12 pool is usually a macro opener. You make lings, you harass, and you expand, and you try to get some economic damage done across the map. We'll see which variation Adez does go for. Does he pull the boys? Does he not? Considering what happened so far in this series, he probably will pull the boys. Like, he's been cheesing every game, but oh, never mind. He'll expand. Okay. So just 12 pool into expansion. So macro opener here out of Adez. I say macro opener, again, the goal here for Adez is to kill around like 2 or 3 drones. He has to kill a handful of workers and has to force a reaction out of Cham. The downside of this build is no gases. Obviously, there's no gases here for Adez. Because of this, this typically leads into 2-base Roach in the mid game. Usually you wall up with your Roach Ward, with your Evo Chamber, you don't get a 3rd base. The reason why you cannot get a 3rd is because you have no Link speed, so Adez won't be able to keep up with the speed and with the movement of Cham's Link Bane in the mid game. So usually we just have to wall off on 2 bases. So far the Lings, they move out. I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now the goal for Adez is to get some economic damage done. Cham is going to have to pull the boys. Cham, he will have to pull the boys. Hatchery is under fire. Boys are being pulled. And this is the moment where Adez needs to pick off a worker or 2 as he is forcing lost mining time. Actually, sorry, this was pull first. Yeah, this was an earlier sporting pool, so Cham should be fine. He should be fine here. He should not lose any drones. Dancing with the army. Queen waddles down. So far, good control out of Cham. And he didn't lose a single worker. Didn't lose a single drone. Does defend, does hold. Again, my apologies, I was focusing on Adez, but Cham did go for an earlier spawning pool and went for an early gas, and we're going for a Bane Bust. So Cham is going to Bane Bust, and Adez, he needs to wall off. He needs to wall off as quickly as possible. I mean, sorry, not as quickly, but he needs to make sure he walls off in time, is what I should say. As we do see Cham is going for the all-in. He's going for the all-in, going for the counter Bane Bust, massing up Lings. Adez, he's droning. Adez, he didn't Link Scout either. He didn't get into the main, which is concerning. And we need a wall. We need a wall, Bobby. Lings are revealed. He sees. He needs that wall. And without it, there's no defending. Yeah, Cham is about to pull the trigger. Adez, he needs to wall up. He starts the wall, but we need everything. Roach Warden has been thrown out. We need Evo Chambers. We need a Spine Crawler as well. Anything and everything. It's not going to be enough. Bailings are morphing in. Up. Evo Chambers are on the way. Now, what's concerning to me is that because the wall is so late, it is a late wall, it's so low HP. Yeah, it's the HP is just not there. It's a late wall. Evo Chambers is going to be knocked down. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. And Cham, he breaks through. He breaks through. He busts into the bases. That's targeting one of the Bailings, but the others, we surround the queens, and Cham, he has broken the wall. He has broken the defensive line. And Cham will take a lead here. We'll take a 2-0 lead. Bailings don't quite connect. GG gets called, and Cham takes the 2-0. GG, well played. He will take the 2-0. Again, Adez, I am not opposed to the 12 pool. Unfortunately, Adez, when he moved out across the map, he saw was an early spawning pool out of Cham, so early Lings. So Cham playing safe. Cham played safe. Cham defended quite well there. And unfortunately, Adez, he just wasn't able to recognize how much danger he was in. The wall was late. It could have been thrown down sooner, but alas, he was being a little bit greedy. He was being a little bit greedy. He wasn't expecting a Bane Bust. He didn't see the Baneling Nest. And with that, Cham does take the 2-0, but we're still jumping into game 3. As a reminder, these are best of 3s, but we are covering all 3 games regardless of the score. Let's go. If you sim 3 times in 1 second, your Marines turn Super Saiyan 3. Ah, no. Ah, no. Here we go. We're jumping into our next game. Oh, let's go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our red random player rolling Protoss this time. For the first time, no, sorry, I was gonna say for the first time this series at least, that is true. For the second time today, from the land of Spain, it is Adez. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player from land of Mexico, representing Xeritus Esports. It is a Cham. El Chamaco. Let's go. Let's go. As Cham does open... Oh. It does open pool first. Okay, going to be pool cast out of our Zerg player. A very aggressive start out of Cham. I mean, I think now he's recognized. He's going to read on that as like game 1, 2x Reaper. Game 2, we had a 12 pool. Game 3, Cham just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Early gas means early link speed, means early aggression. This could be a Bane bust out of Cham as well, or it could even be a Roach Rush, as the natural is late, is delayed. Remember, Cham doesn't know what race he's up against until now, until the probe was revealed. And Cham is forced to take the unnatural natural. See chat, best of 5? No, best of 3. Just to reiterate once again, these are best of 3s, but all 3 games are played regardless of score. Regardless of 2-1 or 3-0, all 3 games are being played. So best of 3s. As Cham does chase the probe. Link speed is on the way. Cham, he does pull out. So he does pull out of gas. If he stayed in, this could be a Bane bust. This could be a Roach Rush. But he does pull out of gas. So this turns into a much safer build out of Cham. But he will gain map control. He will gain map control, taking his natural. At the same time, back at home, double gate opener out of Arez. This is a bit of an awkward wall. It's yeah, it's it's a little bit of an awkward wall off here for the Protoss. Oh, the Cybercore is actually very exposed. Exposed Cybercore. More links are on the way. The Zealot cannot afford to get surrounded. And it will be. Yeah, Biggs. Oh no, he gets a surround. Gets a full surround here. Zealot is going to go down. Adept is being chronoed. We have more links on the way. It's Cham is just link flooding. He's just link flooding at this point. Going for the Cybercore. Cybercore is low from earlier. Boys are being pulled. And we have to wall. We have to wall off as quickly as possible here with the pylon. If it's left open, Cham can just keep going in. Okay, there we go. There's a pylon. Cybercore still under threat. Lings are in the main. And we're just flooding. We're just still flooding. Another surround! Gets us around on the Adept. A lot of damage, a lot of hits. Adept goes down. Massive pickoff. And the Cybercore as well. And that's going to be all that we have. I mean, there's one more Adept on the way, but without the Cybercore, we can only make Zealots. And the wall's open. The wall's just wide on open here. Lings, they flood in. The boys are falling one after the other. Cham, it's his turn to be the aggressor. When it comes to the openers, GG gets called. The wall is broken. And Cham, he will look to claim his first series. Ah, let's go. Suerte de torneo. He's wishing Cham the best of luck. Wishing him luck in the tournament. GG, and Cham will take the series 3-0. GG. Ah, wholesome. GG, well played. Again, Cham is the favorite in this group, at least. He's the favorite player in the group. But a shout out as wishing Cham the best of luck as this series does come to an end. And with that, Cham does take it. Cham just take it 3-0. GG, well played. Ooh, congratulations. And with that, Arez has been having a bit of a rougher start here. A bit of a rougher start to the tournaments. He did barely go down to Temi, did go down to Cham. We'll see how he does against the other favored player in the group. Now, the way these groups work here is we have groups of 5. We have 5 players. We have 5 players in total, and top 2 make it out. Top 2 make it out. Cham, I would say, is the favored player to make it out of the group. That is true. But we have another player that I would also say is favored to make it out as well. Alongside Cham, the other player here is XionS. XionS is a Peruvian Protoss player. We have casted XionS many times here throughout the years. Back in 2019, 2020, XionS, he is, would I say, the best Protoss player in Peru? I think so. There used to be a lot of competition. We used to have a lot of Peruvian representation, of course, with Alexander, with Tiratuga, with XionS, of course. But I think I would go that far. Yeah, I think I would say best Protoss player in Peru at least. But XionS isn't really very active. I think that's what's most exciting to me about the HSL, is that the Latin American scene used to be huge. The Latin American scene used to be thriving, bigger than Europe, to be honest. Back in 2019, 2020, 2021, into 2022. A lot of things happened, though, that did kind of slow support and slow interest in the Latin American scene. A lot of the content creators stepped away. There used to be so many content creators and so many casters in the Latin American region. I'm talking about Otis, I'm talking about Romsley, I'm talking about, of course, Enki is still around, of course. I'm talking about Jim Rising, Jaime Arturo Duran Silencio. Jim Rising, he used to be not just a big StarCraft streamer in Spanish, but he used to just be a big streamer in general. Nowadays, he's playing League of Legends, he's streaming League of Legends, and he's more like a variety streamer nowadays. He stepped away from StarCraft. Demon Swap, true, Swap, he got a job elsewhere, and he stopped casting StarCraft. Like, a lot of the casters for Latino America did step away. A lot of the content creators stepped away, and a lot of the player base died down as a result. Because of that, I mean, a lot of these players have been inactive, which is why I'm excited to see a lot of them come back. XionS is one of them. XionS is one of those players that has been away for a long time. Even Cham, he's not the most active player anymore. Same with Special, Juanito, he hasn't competed since EWC, like, he has been gone for months, but this event has brought them back, has brought back these players, and I want to see how informed they are. How informed are they? What are they looking like? And what shape are they in? I was on a team with Jim years ago. He's a great... Yeah, Jim's great. Jaime Papia. He's amazing. Again, he still is a really big streamer. He just doesn't play StarCraft anymore. But he's still a big streamer. But yeah, a lot of the content creators did step away. And with that, we'll see what XionS is looking like. Let's go. So jumping into game 1 in a series against Ares. Let's go. Now, back in the day, XionS used to be very fond of more mid to late game. That used to be like his go-to, kind of being more defensive and thriving off of a 3 base economy used to be kind of like his style. But here we go, we're getting to something different. We're getting into a PvP. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Frostline, we have the red Protoss. I mean, the red random player, but rolling Protoss here from land of Spain. It is Ares. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is XionS. Here we go. So we are going to be getting to our openers. As a reminder, XionS, he does not know what race his opponent is, so he's going for a very early probe scout. Very early scout here by XionS, trying to figure out what's going on, and does get eyes on the scouting probe. Now he knows. Now he knows it's going to be a PvP. Oh, the SimCity here is going to be lacking because of that, as the gateway is going to be further back next to the expansion itself, next to the Nexus. Which means against Adept Aggression, he won't be able to wall off, where it's going to be more awkward to wall the ramp. So already a nice little win for Ares. Already this shows the downside of not knowing what your opponent is, right? Of not knowing if they're Terran, Protoss, or Zerg. But it's going to be a 2-gate opener out of XionS. Gas steal here from Ares. Let's go. Does go for the gas steal. Opening up double gas himself. Going for a gate into Cybercore. Interesting. This looks like an economic opener. Oh, never mind. Did I say economic opener? Gate into Cybercore into what looks to be Proxy Robo, I would imagine. We'll see what kind of proxy. It could just be Proxy Gateway. We'll keep an eye on that is. As XionS is in the dark. Opening up Zealot to deal with that gas geyser. Likewise, the probe, it does confirm that the pylon has been missing. It's a late pylon here and even cancelled. So XionS, he knows that something's wrong. Something is a little bit wrong. Something is amiss. Something doesn't quite add up, and there it is. Proxy Robo. Proxy Robo out of Ares. XionS coming back in. He was trying to pylon block. He needs to get eyes. Yeah, he's gonna get behind the mineral line. He will confirm there's no pylon. But this is a late confirmation. We need a defensive Robo. Oh no! He doesn't get behind the mineral line. He doesn't get behind. He expands instead. This is not lining up well for XionS. He goes for the expansion. He doesn't know that the pylon was cancelled. He doesn't know that there's a proxy. And he's moving out. He's moving out across the map with his adepts. XionS does pylon block. This is to cancel, to create an opening. To allow for the adepts to go in. And XionS has potential for a lot of economic damage. He's going for the shade. Again, 2 adepts taking 1-shot probes. Does shade in. Busts into the mineral line. And he does confirm that that pylon was cancelled. There's no tech. Something is wrong. Something's happening. Twilight Council's on the way. That's not going to help. That shouldn't help here as the Immortal is going to reveal itself. Nice economic damage though. He gets how many? 7 probe kills. Gets 8. 8 probes go down. Immortal is revealed. Now Xion is aware. And that is, can he still pull this off? Warp Gate just now finishing up. Boys are being pulled. XionS does pull the boys. Does trigger the shield. So far, good response. I mean, the best response that XionS could hope for. But he's chasing this very far out onto the map. Has to pull back. Needs that shield battery. Does pull back. Prone to getting surrounded. A second Immortal's on the way. XionS in an awkward position here. Oh no, he's surrounded by Immortals. Yeah, and with that it is, he can shut this down. He can and he will. Takes down one of the Stalkers. Another Immortal gets low. It's very low. But takes down all the workers, and now he can just focus down those Stalkers. Ooh, will lose an Immortal though. One Immortal goes down. He still has 1 left, reinforcing on the front lines. Yeah, and XionS, I don't think he can recover from this. He's going into charge here as a response. Throws down a wall of shield batteries on the high ground. But XionS already lost so much here. He does no longer have that economic advantage. I do think that Adez is wasting a bit of time here at the national, but there it is. GG gets called. There's no defending this, and Adez takes a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Adez does take a lead. Again, XionS, a big misread. Remember, he got into the main base. He should have noticed that second pylon was late. He did not. He just saw the pylon. He was like, oh, maybe my opponent just is mismacroing. Maybe it's just late and they just messed up. We saw that no, it was intentional. The pylon was cancelled. XionS did not confirm that the pylon was cancelled, which means he didn't realize that the pylon was actually proxied instead, and that there was a robo on the way. XionS, because he assumed it was a standard opener, he just expanded. He expanded, went for a Twilight Council, and alas, XionS got caught with his pants down. GG. Adez takes a lead. Let's go. Let us go. As we're going into game number 2. And we'll see what race Adez rolls on this time. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Protoss player. Once again, rolling Protoss 2 games in a row from land of Spain, leading the series 1-0. It is Adez. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is XionS. Here we go. XionS does move out. Does move out with his worker. Going for his early probe scout once again. This time I'm sure XionS going to be much more attentive when it comes to the pylons. Does confirm the race of his opponent. Does confirm the probe of Adez. And XionS does slip in. And this time should be more attentive with his scouting worker. Back at him. Yep, second gas. This time he will rush into that second gas carriage. Does not want to be stolen. Does not want to fall behind. There we go, 2-gate opener out of XionS once again, setting up here in the main. And a big reason for that is just he just didn't know where his opponent was, or what his opponent was, I should say. So pylon closer to the mineral line. XionS, he pulls out with that probe, sets up his own proxy. Yeah, he's had enough. It's like, man, you cheese the hell out of me in game one? Nah, 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 nah. It's time to bounce back. Silence, let's go for his own proxy pylon. He also confirms this time economic opener. He confirms the Nexus. This time there's no fake pylon, and this is a very greedy build, by the way. That was a Nexus before second pylon. That was a Nexus as well before second gateway, before any tech either. Very greedy build here out of Arez. We're seeing the extremes here. Game 1 cheese, game 1 proxy, game 2 insanely fast Nexus. And XionS, he's ready to all in. It's going to be a short series here, going for the proxy gateway. 3-gate setup. Mass Stalker. This is where Arez should realize the pylon is missing. Just like the last game where Arez didn't have a second pylon in the main base, likewise there is no second pylon here for XionS. Arez should know what that means. He should realize something is wrong. Shield batteries on the way. Defensive robo. My big concern, that's a robo, that's a very exposed robo. Insanely exposed. We would typically not have the robo here at the natural. On the one hand, it means that reinforcements that hit the natural that much faster with the immortals, that's true, but the robo is going to be under threat. It's going to be vulnerable, it's going to be exposed. Which means if this pylon goes down, that's game. Like, we need those immortals to survive this. We need the immortals to defend. As XionS was rallying across the map, going for a Twilight Council back at home, warping in more Stalkers. I mean, the shield batteries will help, true. Shield batteries will help. Hallucinations moving out. Here comes XionS. XionS, he's got 7 Stalkers. And he will target down those shield batteries. Throws down his own pylon. Oh my god, he's crazy. Throws down his own pylon, gets 1 shield battery. And there's 1 shield battery left. He's just going for the Stalker, dealing hull damage. Stalkers are getting low. XionS will lose 1. I'll lose 2. Yeah, 2 for 1 trade, but the shield battery's out of energy. Where's the energy overcharge? Pylon's under fire, and and everything is depowered. The immortal barely doesn't pop out. It was so close. A couple more seconds. No immortal. This was my big concern. Again, the robo was exposed. GG gets called, and XionS, he will tie the series 1-1. Whew, GG. Series is tied up. Again, the robo, as we mentioned, was exposed on the low ground. It got depowered. That's game. That's game then and there. We needed that immortal to survive, to defend, and to make a game out of that. Without it, GG. Without it, GG, well played. We're now getting into game 3. We're getting into game 3 here. We're tied up 1-1. The question becomes, who proxies this time? Who goes for the all-in? Game 1 was Arez. Game 2 was XionS. Game 3, we're here to find out. Let's go. So you're loading into Ultra Love. Oh, and this time our random player has rolled Zerg. Here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our Spanish Zerg player, our red Zerg. It is Arez. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Unido Spotted Vicio. It is XionS. Here we go. It is going for a double extractor trick. Let's go. Going hatch first, more importantly. I was curious if he was going to go gas first, like gas first into a Link Flood, a similar build to what we saw from Cham previously, but this time, hatch first. Hatch first out of Arez. Going for something relatively standard. I say relative just because he went for the extractor trick, which means he has no overlord, he has no supply. So because that, he's banking larva, and he's not actually spending his larva either. I mean, he can't, right? He's supply blocked. There we go. Now he makes the overlord. So a bit of an awkward opener. Yeah, a little bit shaky. Another double extractor trick, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, we're getting there. And XionS with the probe scout confirms Zerg. Confirms it is a Zerg opponent. More importantly, he confirms no gas. Gasless opener. Now, when it comes to a gasless opener, this usually means a fast third hatchery. Like, typically that's where the resources are going to be spent instead of taking a gas geyser and saturating that gas geyser as well. Should be a fast third. We have 6 Lings on the way. XionS, he's aware of the fast respawning pool as well. And XionS, he should react with a Zealot back at home. Did go for, yeah, once again, the gateway in the main. Like, this is also what is brutal about Protoss playing against random, is that, I mean, he's been trying to set up his production in his main base, which means there's no wall at the natural, which means a Ling Flood here actually can work. And that is, he is Ling Flooding. Going for a Roach Warren, he has no gas, so there we go. Now taking double gases, he's going to have limited gas income. But Adez is going for the all-in, and we'll see if XionS can pull off this defense. It's not going to be easy. Not without that wall. Zealot's on the way, the wall is open. Lings are making their way towards that pylon. And if that pylon goes down, that's going to be game. I mean, I guess there is that gateway in the main. Boys are being pulled. Pylon under fire. It's going to go down. Yeah, it's going to be close. Can he save it? No shot. Barely not. Barely not. Pylon goes down. Depowers the cybercore. Depowers the gateway. Pylon's being rebuilt. Zealot's still alive. More Lings are flooding in. But again, these are slow Lings. Second Zealot has arrived. XionS is holding. XionS is holding. What's important, XionS, he's lost 1 probe so far. Oh no! Oh, losing 2. Lost 2 probes. Can he lose 3? Barely not. So that's going to be 2 probes for 13 Lings and 1 pylon. Now, again, XionS, he does hold on. Adez was very committed. A bit of a misrally here with that drone. Behind this, going into Roaches, going into a Roach all-in. But the misrally is brutal here. The drones are coming back home. Oh my god, the misrally was insane. Jesus. Ay. Calm down, Papi, calm down. Has to pull back. And this will slow him down. This will slow him down. Again, that should not have happened. We're still not mining. Get back to work. Get back to work. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for XionS. As there we go, Adez, he does go back to saturation. He's got a handful of Roaches, but there's barely any. There's what, 4 Roaches? I guess they can morph into Ravagers, but even then, there's no Ling support, there's no Ling speed. It's just been an awkward setup. There was potential with the early Ling Flood, true, there was potential, but ideally, I'm sure he was hoping he could surround the Zealot. Wasn't able to. They're the first Ravagers. Ling speed is on the way. XionS getting ready for his own counter proxy. Runs into the Ravagers. Has to calm down. Yeah, sentries are ready. He's looking at the force fields. And oh, he locks them down. Yeah, he locks them in. And these Ravagers are going to fall. He's going to get 1. He's going to get a Roach. Both Roaches even. So very nice force fields here by XionS. Locks in the army. That was not worth it for Adez. Behind this looks like he's going for a Ravager Ling all-in. Yeah. It's flooding Lings. Gonna be flooding Lings. Gateway is almost done. And XionS is looking comfortable. He's looking comfortable here, going for a Robo, Twilight Council, Forge follow up as well. Here come the reinforcements. XionS is here to punish. That is a lot of Lings. But if only we had some Ravagers here. There's only 1. While does connect. The Lings, they trade well here against the Stalkers. But last the Zealots are here to support. Yeah, they hit a buffer, here to support. Lings are going down. A Ravager was targeted. And that was the army. That was the army. Then there's 20 more Lings in production. XionS does get the Queen. Let's go to force field. Up. Doesn't quite send it. Sentry goes down. Lings, they will clean this up. We got the slow lots waddling in. They're waddling in. And looks like XionS, he barely has enough. It was a close defense. And I appreciate the Lings, they do target down that Stalker. Barely do get it. Again, it was a close defense, but now boys are being pulled. Drones are going down. The Zealots, they wreak havoc. They're just so tanky. They shut down the mineral line. And with that, XionS, he will overwhelm. He will overwhelm. GG gets called. And XionS will take the series 2-1. GG, well played. XionS, he does overwhelm. Again, Adez going for a very quirky build, going for initially a Link Flood followed by Roaches. The Link Flood had potential early on, but as we saw, only killed the Pylon, wasn't quite able to deal any economic damage. It was a bit of an awkward one as well because of the late gases, so there was no like Link Flood with Link Speed, and in the end, XionS did overwhelm. GG. GG, well played. Whew, and with that, we are nearing that halfway mark. Here we go, the bracket, the group has been progressing. Let's catch up on what's been going on. Here we go. So far, we've been following a lot of Adez. And actually, I should fix this up. I have to fix it up on Wikipedia as well. Adez has been playing random. So we had Adez and Temi go back and forth. Temi took the series, Cham took down Adez 3-0, XionS took down Adez at 2-1, and up next, the big names, the heavy hitters are facing off. We have Cham versus XionS in the next series and another best of 3, and we have XionS versus Boreal, the Argentinian Terran player, up next as well. So we have 2 series remaining here in the group. We are going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a break here before we do get into the final 2 series, so take this moment to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, get ready here for Cham and XionS. Let's go, Bobby, let's go. Again, there's a lot of history between these 2 players. Coming into this, I would say that Cham is more in form. He's a lot more active in recent times. XionS doesn't really compete anymore. I mentioned before that the Latin American region, for the most part, a lot of the top players did retire and did step away, but that's also why I think it's important to host an event like this. Like the HSL, the Hispanic Star League, has or is revitalizing the scene. It's giving more interest, it's giving more reason for these players to compete, to improve, and to step in. So I'm ready, I'm excited. But now we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the rest of our group. See you soon. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC as we have returned. We have returned here with the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up following our Spanish players matches, following Ares up against Temi, up against Cham, up against XionS. But now we are here with 2 series remaining. We're here with our ZVP, Cham versus XionS. These 2 heavy hitters. I would say they're the 2 players favored to make it out of the group. They're both pro, they're both GM. What I will say though, as I say that, is that XionS has been very inactive. A lot of the Latin American players, to be fair, have been very inactive, only just recently coming back to the game in preparation for the HSL, for this league, for the Hispanic Star League. So we'll see how far XionS has risen in that short time and how he compares currently to Cham. How do they compare? How can he fare against, I would say, the best player in Latin America? Right now, it's kind of a battle between Cham and Diego, Cham and Kellezer, but I think currently I would say that Cham is a step above Kellezer. Part of that is also because Kellezer is less active. He is less active nowadays. He's taking a break. The last event that Kellezer played in was Home Story Cup. That was back in December. I don't think Diego has played in anything since Home Story Cup, so it's been a while. It's been a while, Papi. It's been a while. But regardless, we're jumping into our ZVP. Let's go. Game 1 is on Frostline. Game 1 is going to be on Frostline. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Mexican Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Xerius Esports. It is a Cham. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player representing Unidos por el Vicio from Lena, Peru. It is XionS. Here we go. And the nostalgia, as it might be a short series, but the nostalgia regardless here, as I do recall casting many a match between XionS and Cham during events like Batallas de las Americas or events like Sentimiento Latino, Copa Hyperion. Would see a lot of XionS and Cham facing off time and time again. And now we're back, and Cham, oh, he does move out for a bit of a scout, comes back, it's going to be hatch first out of Cham, and XionS, he opens up with a proxy. Now again, coming into this, I would go as far as to say that Cham is the best player in Latino America. Cham is stronger currently than Special, than Kellezer, than Diego, than even Eric. Cham, he is in form. But that doesn't mean you can't cheese him the hell out. Let's go, Papi, let's go. Proxy 2 gate with a Forge Cannon Rush. Let's go. So Zealot Cannon Rush here out of XionS. Does poke up the ramp. Does confirm a bit of a safer opener. Cham going for a hatch first, yes, but going for a bit of an earlier spawning pool. Hatch, pool, gas. And we'll see if Cham is able to react in time. Now, he is keeping his Overlord above his hatchery. This does give him extra vision. So if there's a pylon, he should see it. Ooh. But pylon barely out of vision, barely out of range. And as Cham, he does not spot that pylon. He's looking here behind his mineral line. He's checking for a cannon rush here where it typically would be. But again, Zealots are coming. The Zealots are on the way. Cham, he pokes out. He does confirm. He does get eyes on the pylon. He knows. Cham, he is aware. Behind this, needs to get his queens up and running. Lings are on the way. There we go. The first cannon has been thrown down. Cham setting up for a proxy hatch. Okay. He moves out. Does move out across map for a proxy. Zealots are waddling in. XionS, he did spot the drone. He knows the drone is somewhere. He's looking for the worker. He's looking for that drone. And we do have a ninja base. Ninja base on the way. And XionS, he will scout this. He will confirm it. He can cannon rush. Meanwhile, the natural's under fire. Cannons within range. There we go, setting up the cannon rush here at that ninja. And this hatchery should go down. Now, bear this in mind, Cham is going for a 1-base all-in, or he's setting up with 1-base Roach. Second gas geyser, Roach Warren into Roach production. The natural is forfeit, natural will go down, and this ninja base should fall as well. As Cham, he does not know he's been scouted. Does not know he's been scouted. We should be getting those cannons soon. We need those cannons. Zealots, they have to be careful not to be surrounded. Yeah, they have to be wary. There's no reason for the Zealots to go in. Zealots say calm down, they back off. Cannons are on the way. And we have the Cybercore back at home. That should be for a Robo. That should be for a mortal production. And of course, Stalkers as well. But the Cybercore doesn't give access to tech. XionS did not scout the main. He doesn't really know what's going on. Nice surround! Ah, but it's an Overlord. It is an Overlord. Hatchery does complete. Only one cannon. Typically we want at least two. But should be enough. Proxy Stargate, let's go! Proxy Stargate out of XionS, not Robo. So no Immortals, going Void Ray instead. Going for the Void Rays. Cham, can he save the expansion? Bileseye will chip away at the cannons. No shield battery. Uh-oh. Yeah, no shield battery here to support. So these Ravagers, they will clean this up quite well. Without too much issue. Yeah, they will clean this up. Oh, and XionS is going to be broken here. Cham, he breaks out of his contain. Cannons will kill the hatchery, but it may not matter. Yeah, Cham cleans up all the Zealots. Going for the production, going for the pylons. And we have Stalkers on the way. And they have to get the hell out of here. Yeah, they do pull back. Meanwhile, Voiders are amassing. It does kill the Ninja base. That is going to be the first Void Ray. But there's no other gateways, there's no other production. From here, Cham, he can just send it across the map. He can just send it. And he's going for it as well. Cham, he has seen the Proxy Stargate. He knows back at home what do we have? We have two Queens. Second Queen's on the way. No Spore yet. Cham is going for the Proxy. He has to make a choice. What does he go for? He's going for the Stargate. I mean, it's only one pylon. It can just be piled down. Yeah, he's going for the pylon. Ooh, it will fall. Massive pickoff. Depowers the Stargate. There's only one Void Ray. Zero production here for XionS. And Cham looking solid. Looking very solid here. He only made, what, 4 Ravagers. Reinforcing with Lings. Getting a natural expansion. The Void Ray can be an issue, but there are already 2, soon to be 3 Queens. The Queen count is healthy. Void Ray can hunt down Overlords at least, but back at home, the defense is going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal here. And again, the initial cannon rush was quite successful. Like, again, XionS, he killed 2 bases, but unfortunately, because of his setup, he wasn't able to support his proxy. Like, what I mean by that is that he had the Stargate on the right-hand side, so the Void Rays were not able to reinforce the cannons or the Zealots on the front lines. Likewise, no shield batteries. And once Cham broke out, I mean, that's been game. That's been game then and there. Depowers the final gateway. Going for more pylons. Cham, he does pull away. Doesn't lose Ravagers. Does respect the Void Ray. He respects it. Yo, I'm loving Lair on the way and Overlord speed. This should be for Drop Lords. This should be for a Queen push. So we're setting up for a Queen push. Let's go. XionS does save his natural. Hey, he expands. He's saturating. Cham, I would say, is still in a better position, but... Oh. We'll see if XionS can defend against what's coming. Back at home, going for his own charge. Again, there is no follow-up Stargate or Robo. It's just purely gateway units. Purely charge lots. Purely charge lots on the way. Does rotate, can maybe threaten the expansion, but Cham is not droning. Cham is not droning. Here come the Drop Lords. Remember, Overlord speed is done. They should be moving up with everything, with the Roaches, the Ravagers, and the Queens. XionS, sure, he has some charge slots, but he just can't really scale too well here into a longer game. That's why he's moving out. And so is Cham. We could end up with like in a weird base trade, I guess. XionS, he can always recall. He can always recall back home. He can snipe the expansion. But here comes Cham. As he sends it across the map. Cham, he's gonna be forced back home though. He does respect this. Does respond to the Zealots. Yeah, coming in for the full surround, which means Zions won't be able to recall. Yeah, there's no recall. I mean, he can try to, but he will bleed out those Zealots. Oh, the Biles! Okay, does avoid the Biles. Zealots, they trade decently against the Lings. Road Ravager commits. Here come the Queens. Queens, they do respond to the Void Ray. Queens, they do respond. As Queens are being chopped off, they can spread creep, they can transfuse. And back there, we have an Immortal at least. True, there is that one Immortal. Decent force fields knocking down one of the Queens. Plus transfuse. Keeps the Queen alive. Boys are being pulled. They're being pulled away. They evacuate. Void Ray comes in from behind. Yeah, Queens, they respond to the Void Ray. They did spend their transfuse, but the hatchery goes down. The Robo's under fire, and Cham, he has done it. He has broken the natural. Depowers the Robo. No more Immortals. Cleans up the natural, and GG gets called. There's no coming back from this. Cham will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Cham does take lead in the series, but a shout to Zions because, again, initially the proxy, the cannon rush was doing quite well. Remember, he killed 2 bases, he was containing, but I do think the execution of the follow-up was a little bit lacking, whether it's the location of the tech, the location of the Stargate, or the location of the potential Robo, the reinforcements of the cannons as well. Like, there were no shield batteries, there was no real commitment to the contain there from Zions, and Cham, he broke out. He broke free, snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. We're going to be following this into game 2, into Whispers of Gold. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have our Mexican Zerg player, our Red Zerg, representing Xerxes Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is a Cham. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is XionS. This time, Pylon back at home. This time there is no proxy. As a reminder, last game it was proxy 2-gate with a forge proxied as well. This time the Pylon is back at home. So on a smaller map, we have a much more standard opener out of XionS. It makes sense, as your opponent can rush and counterattack that much faster here on Whispers of Gold. So XionS is going to calm things down, settle in. Likewise, Cham, hatch first. Hatch first. Once again, he will park his Overlord over his expansion to make sure there's no cannon rush. That is where you want to keep your second Overlord. Cham playing very safe. Cham is playing safe. Going into his pool, going into his gases. Same opener here, 2 games in a row out of Cham. Really, it's XionS who we're keeping our eye on. XionS is mixing it up. Let's mix it up. There we go. Cybercore's on the way. Taking his gases. And everything so far looking standard. Now, when it comes to Xion and how he does approach his matchup, I mentioned before that it's very mid-game oriented. I stand by that. Back in the day, he was very fond of Stargate play and trying to rush into Skytoss into the late game. That at least was his go-to style a couple of years ago at this point. I'm referring to 2020, 2021, into 2022 as well. Post that, very gateway oriented. But again, I haven't cast XionS in years. Actually, I should have checked this. When was the last time I casted XionS? I'm gonna double check. For now, standard openers, Stalker first. Interesting, that means no Adept Aggression, no Adept Harass. Stalker will zone away the Overlord and to keep Cham in the dark. Well, I'm just checking on YouTube. We'll go search on XionS. Okay. Okay. Last time we casted XionS was February, at least the last VOD of XionS on our channel. February of 2023. Sentimiento Latino 142. I believe that may have been the final Sentimiento Latino back in early 2023. Jesus. And before that, yeah, 2022. Like September, August. So it's been years. it's been years, Bobby. It's been years. Ah, no. So happy to see him once again after so long. We do see XionS going for his forge, so it does wall up. Interesting follow-up is what I will say. That is not normal. So Stalker first into Stargate into an early forge. This feels like potentially Void Ray or Oracle Opener into +1 and charge. That would make the most sense. Like, this forge is crazy. Actually, if you remember, I did say that back in the day, back in 2022, 2021, XionS was known for rushing into Skytoss. Is he willing to go like cannons into Fleet Beacon into carrier production? That would be crazy, but that's also a possibility here. We'll see if he gets +1. We will see. Meanwhile, shout out to Hero to Zero in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hero to Zero 0811 for subscribing to Twitch Prime for 3 months. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for enjoying the channel, for enjoying the content, I'm sure, and for supporting us. Thank you, do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft. As a reminder, if you're subscribed, you can of course join our Discord. You will gain replay packs. Replay packs are provided to our subscribers on a regular basis, so if you want to learn from some of these players, you can do so via replays. Otherwise, you also gain some lovely emotes. Some beautiful emotes in the chat if you wish. Otherwise, thank you. As for now, we do have, okay, it's going to be +1 in charge. Okay, it's going to be charge as a follow-up. We should be seeing +1 research from the forge. Cham does go in for a bit of a link flood here, but there are cannons and shield batteries to defend. So far, XionS is in position. So far, XionS is holding. Ooh, no shield battery. Uh-oh. Yeah, no shield battery here, which means the Stalker is going to go down. A nice pickup here from Cham. Behind this, going for an early Roach Warren. Cham does shut down that Stalker. And if Cham saw that Zealot, that's a tell. He sees that there is no research on the Forge, but this Zealot is a massive tell. There's no reason to warp in a Zealot at this stage of the game unless you're going for charge. So Cham knows. Cham, he does know. He slips in. I mean, he gets a full scat anyway. Confirms the Twilight Council, confirms charge. And again, he doesn't see what exactly is being researched, but the Zealot, I mean, that says everything. Zealot does confirm. Behind this, Cham getting his 4th base, getting into +1 range. He's going to be committing here into Roach Ravager. From here, he can go into Ling Main or go from Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker. So Cham, he has a couple of options. Behind this, XionS, Jesus, he's going double Robo. Okay, like the charge is fine, but he went for delayed +1 into double Robo production instead. Okay. Into double Immortal, into charge Archon Immortal. This is very like Shakti-esque, very Nano-esque. He's a Brazilian Protoss player. Okay, into Bay. So the problem here, this is so tech heavy. It's so tech heavy. Double Robo, Temple Archives, Bay as well, into Blink. We're spending just so much money here in production to tech that the army is non-existent. This explains the cannons, by the way. Right now, XionS cannot afford warp-ins because of all this tech. So he has to rely on these cannons to defend, and I guess it's working. It all makes sense. It all comes together here. But it's just really greedy. Very greedy here from XionS. And Cham, he's just massing up roaches, and he's ready to just knock XionS down. Like, cannons, they are good at defending against Ling run-bys. Like, against, like, Ling harassment and Ling aggression, they're okay. But against this army, like, these cannons are going to be one-shot. Like, they're not going to hold on. And again, there's nothing to defend. There's one Immortal, there's 2 Colossus being made at a time. The Gateway Explosion is just now finishing up. XionS, he's not ready for a fight. Look at the supply difference here. Look at the army supply difference specifically. And here comes Cham. Cham, he does not drone the 4th. He does not saturate. He cuts workers at 3 bases. This is a 3 base all in. 3 base all in by Cham. He does send his queens across the map. It's all or nothing. No Ravagers, purely Roach Queen. There we go. Ravagers now morphing in. And Cham is looking to just knock XionS down. And again, XionS, he is not ready to defend against it all in. Not like this. The Colossus will help, true. The Colossus, they come out just in time. But these aren't Lynx, these are Roaches. They can tank some Colossus shots. There we go. Nice force fields. Bioza will knock them down. Roaches, they start stepping in. They take down the cannons. They go for the Archons. And we have to get the hell out of here. We have to kite back. The Colossus are exposed. And they're going to be targeted. Cham should get at least one. Ooh, does get it. One Colossus goes down. Rotates over towards that third. Once again, he wants that second Colossus. And again, XionS, he was just so greedy here. So incredibly greedy. And he doesn't get away with it. He's not going to get away with it. The base is going to be knocked down. I mean, sure, he's getting into +2, and sure, he's making 2 immortals at a time, but there's no saving the third expansion. Oof, oh god, the Biles! Biles takes down the Void Rage. Going for the Colossus. Yeah, the Shield Battery's out of energy as well. GG gets called, the third is broken, the natural as well, and Cham will take a 2-0 lead. Whew, GG. Cham, he will claim the series, but as a reminder, we are casting all 3 games, so we have an opportunity here to potentially recover. We'll see. We'll see if XionS can put a point on the board as we are jumping into that ace match or into game number 3. Again, XionS being so greedy here, taking up so hard, and to be fair, if Cham was macroing, if Cham was droning, if Cham was going for a longer game, then XionS would have gotten away with it. He would have gotten away with potentially 4 Colossus into all those Immortals, into like a death ball of an army. XionS, he would have gotten away with it if Cham hadn't have gone for the all-in. The other thing that I should say and even criticize about XionS here is that going for this kind of greedy style, specifically on Whispers of Gold, is crazy. Like, coming into the game, we spoke about how small the map is and how the map favors aggression. Like, Whispers of Gold is a rush map. There's a reason why we saw Cham go for an all-in. All-ins are favored on Whispers of Gold as well, so it was just a very risky move there out of XionS. He was punished for it, and now we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have our Mexican Zerg player, our Red Zerg, representing Xeritus Esports. It is a Cham. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Unidos por el Vicio. Ooh, down in the series, we'll see if he can put a point on the board here, as this is the final game of the series. It is XionS. Here we go. As a reminder, this is a best of 3, but all 3 games are played. All 3 games are still held. XionS does move out with his gate into Scout. And again, if Cham was more passive, if Cham was more macro-oriented, then XionS would have gotten away with all that greed. He would have snowballed out of control in the mid-game, but Cham is much more aggressive than that, much more assertive. Here we're loading into ley lines. Now, if we saw XionS go for that same build, I wouldn't be opposed to it here on ley lines. On ley lines, the bases are more defendable, the bases are more they're further away from your opponents as well, so there's a longer rush distance. I would say it is easier to defend on ley lines than it is on Whispers of Gold, but I don't like the idea of going for the same build twice in a row. So I would have preferred that build here. Now that he already showed it on Whispers, I'm not too fond of it here on ley lines, so we'll see what XionS goes for. It should be something different. But now just gate expanded to Cybercore. Standard opener out of XionS. Meanwhile, Cham back at home just going hatch into pool into gas. Nothing crazy. It's nothing too crazy. Likewise, I was just trying to get a read on Cham, just trying to make sure there's no shenanigans, there's no early tech. Checks the third expansions before pulling away. Once again, we do see XionS does open up Stalker. He went for a Stalker opener in game 1. We see it here in game 2. Now we see it here in game 3. Stalker opener means that we won't see any Adept aggression. Typically, we have our first Adept and a second Adept that we can shade across the map. Here, XionS is more concerned with denying the scouts of the Overlord. So he's going to be keeping Cham in the dark. Zoning the Overlord away. Same build. Kind of. It's a bit of a messy wall, not gonna lie. Like it's a little bit wonky, but it's fine. It kind of works. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So it does fully wall off in a way. Is vulnerable to a Bane bust, is what I will say. Very vulnerable to a Bane bust. And Overlord, Cham does see this with the Overlord. Behind this, a Twilight Council, not a Stargate, early +1. Now, Cham already seeing +1 is a big tell. Remember, this looks similar to last game, except remember, last game +1 was heavily delayed because of the Stargate, because of the Void Ray. Here, early +1 screams charge. It screams a gateway-based all-in. I'm assuming charge, this could be Blink. Blink is kind of viable, but yeah, there we go. Charge is on the way. And if I assume charge seeing +1, Cham can make that assumption as well. So seeing this is a tell. He may not see the main, but he sees the natural, and that's enough. Back at home, Cham is droning. Cham should be going for a bit of an earlier Roach one. Ooh, going for a very fast lair. That is a sub 4-minute lair out of Cham. Okay. Does go for the Roach Warren. Now, what does this mean? This means early Roach speed. Really early Roach speed is going to be available here to Cham. It also means an early Overseer scout. Cham pokes in. He's looking for gases. No gas. No gases here at the natural. He's trying to check the second gas geyser. Confirms likewise no gas mining. Overlord goes down. But this is another way to confirm charge. As there are no gases at that natural, we can see XionS. He does have his gases in the main. Again, that's just for charge. That's for +1. Gateway explosion, getting up to 6 gates with the proxy across the map. Cham, he's already droning up. He's already saturating all 4 gases. And now we can get into Roach production. As Cham, he is more or less saturated on 3 bases. Roaches can now start to build up. XionS will take an expansion, does get a 3rd, but XionS should be committed. Should be committed here with all these charge lots. Does move in initially. 7 zealots. Another proxy on the right hand side. Roaches have arrived, and the roaches are ready. And charge is being spent on the buildings. And with that, Cham, he completely shuts this down. He deflects, and remember, because of the really early lair, roach speed. And what does that mean? Massive counterattack. It means there's a big counterattack potential here for Cham. Once roach speed finishes, he can move out. And charge lots, they are not the best unit defensively here against Roach Ravager. And he's just going for the all-in. Yeah. He just commits to the all-in. Cham rallies across the map. Roach speed is halfway done. He doesn't even care. Doesn't even wait for it. He just sends it back. He might be forced home. He might be forced to react to this. Yeah, Zell said do counterattack. Cham turns around. He races back. So far, good move out of XionS. He's buying time. He's buying time, going for the expansion. Cham, oh, he will clean this up though. But does he save the base? He's not going to. Yeah, hatchery goes down. Nice pickup. But does cost Zion a lot of zealots. And back at home, what does he have to defend? He has 2 stalkers. Stalkers are warping in. Cham going to be reinforcing. Queens, they can hold their own for a time. As there's no creep, there's no transfuse. But the roaches have arrived. Again, that's 8 queens for Cham. I mean, 5 across the map. He's getting on top of the Robo. The Robo is exposed. There's a recall. The 3rd base is going to fall, and there is no Immortal production. Without Immortals, how do we hold on? Robo gets depowered. And back at the natural, we're just fully walling up. We got shield batteries, cannons, oh my god. A strong reaction here by XionS. But Cham, he already got the damage he was hoping for. Now moving in. No Ravagers, no Vials. But Cham is droning. Cham is droning, going for a Hydroden. There we go, Ravagers now on the way. Cham sees the wall of static defense. He sees the wall. He doesn't care. He's going in. It does move in regardless. Files a shut down the initial shield battery. Forge as well. And from here, Cham, you can just take it slow. You just take it slow and just saturate. Oh. Cleans out a couple of Ravagers. Nice pickups for XionS. Takes down a couple of Ravagers. Back at home, Cham, he is droning, taking his gases. Not being at home is concerning, but he does have reinforcements. Some more Zealots are rolling in. Cham, he's ready for this. Cham is ready now. Upon seeing these Zealots, Cham, he knows that there must be a proxy, or at least a warp prism. Like, there should be something wrong. I mean, he killed the Robo, so he knows there shouldn't be a prism. And now they're staying at home, being more defensive, containing. Hydrogen is done, Lurker Den is on the way, Infestation Bit for Hive Tech. Cham, he's just building up into Lurkers. Cham, he's almost there. Besides, he wants that base for a second time. He's going for it. I mean, hey, they're +1 Zealots, they're cracked. They will get the expansion. Hatchery goes down once again, just barely. This time Cham did double expand though, he's got another base. He can transfer. Likewise, the depth here into the mineral line does get eyes on the Hydroden. But Cham, all he has to do is defend, to be honest. He just has to calm down, defend, is beating out a couple of drones here. Has to be careful. Spire is on the way, Hive alongside it. In case there's Skytils, Cham is ready for Corruptors. But from here we can get into Lurker upgrades and a Greater Spire. Overseer Scout confirms that there's still a ground army, not Skytils. Not yet. Second Robo's on the way. We can see XionS making 2 Immortals at a time. He's trying to build up a Robo-based composition. Here come the Lunkers. Now, trying to break this position is not easy for Cham. It's not going to be easy here, so the only thing to do here is really contain. And the only thing to do for Cham is to break XionS when he tries to expand. Eventually, XionS will take a third. He will try to, and when that happens, Cham is going to be ready for it. At least that would be the hope. Like, there's no rush for Cham. He can just chill. Throwing down Spine Crawlers, Spore Crawlers. Walling up. There's that third base for XionS. And now he's exposed. Now he doesn't have all that side defense to protect him. Cham, he does find the proxy. And once Cham sees his expansion, then it will be time to move it. Meanwhile, Cham getting into the Greater Spire. There are those Lurker upgrades. Vipers would be ideal, but no Vipers yet. As Cham is maxed, going into double Nidus Worm. With the changing, Cham, he does confirm the third. As he sees the army, going for a counterattack. I do like this. Cham, he does want to get rid of these roaches. These roaches, they do not scale well. They're really dead supply. So Cham, he does get up the ramp. Going for the going for the Nexus. Now, you want to kill my third base twice? I'll kill your main. Does get it. Oh, going for the tech instead. I mean, going for both. Takes on the Nexus, going for the Bay. Main army moves in, but does run into the Colossus. Lurkers have to be careful. Cham is holding his own, and again, as he bleeds out roaches, he replaces them with Hydras. The Hydras are amassing. We should be seeing Ling Hydra out of Cham alongside Vipers, but for now, yeah, there we go. Lings are on the way. Lings are in production, getting the +3 range, massing out more lurkers. And there's still no side defense here. Yeah, the cannons and shield wipers are a little bit too late. Cham is moving in. He's moving in for the kill. He's got his lurker upgrades. He's got range. Zion's catching reinforcements. Not bad. Cham just keeps going. Just keeps moving forward, getting within range of the expansion. Zion's going for a pseudo base trade. Here's the counterattack trying to force Cham to respond. But the base is still going to fall. And Cham just plays it slow. Doesn't engage. Just calms down. Zion's have to turn back around here. Oh, brutal spine shots. Oh my god, no! He tries to commit in, but the lurkers, they just annihilate the ground army. The immortals, they just evaporate. And Zion, he couldn't fight this head on. GG gets called, and Cham will take the series 3-0. Not dropping a map. GG. GG. Solo play there by Cham. Again, Cham this time being much more aggressive, going for a Roach Queen all-in. Did, of course, recognize that it was going to be charge. As a reminder, Cham, he scouted the early +1, and remember, he confirmed the charge build by going into the natural and confirming no gases. Remember, he saw no gases at the natural, so he did assume that it was going to be charged. Roaches were ideal in that position. The Zealous did nothing, and Cham was able to break the third base and contain his opponent. And remember, there was no rush. There was no rush for Cham. After he contained Zions on 2 bases, just backed off, expanded, took more bases, droned up, teched up into Hive, into Greater Spire, into Lurker Den. There was no rush for Cham. Just played it safe. GG. GG, well played. Did play it safe, and with that, Cham will claim the series. And that leads us into our final series of the night. Again, Xion's, I would have said, I still do say, was the biggest threat to Cham in this group. Alas, Cham shows his dominance, doesn't drop a single map so far in said group. And Xion's, we'll see how he can compare to some of these other players. We've already seen Xion's drop a map to Ades earlier. Now he's up against a Terran player instead. He's up against a Terran player from Argentina. Gonna be going up against Boreal. Let's go. Let us go. Boreal is a player that I don't think I've ever casted him before. Actually, I want to double check that. But he is a player that has shown up in the chat before. He's a very active player from Argentina. Maybe even currently the best player from Argentina. I might go that far. I know Egg, he retired quite some time ago. Have I casted him before? Let's see. Oh, fun fact. Boreal, our Argentinian player, I've casted him once before in Batalla de las Americas, Battle of the Americas number 23. This was back in August of 2020. Boreal versus Patty Mac in a PvT. It has been almost 5 years. Almost 5 years since I've casted this player. It's crazy. Again, that's what I mean. Like, it's a lot of these players are coming back after a long time. I appreciate it. Hold on, I want to see exactly when this series was played. Battle of the Americas, 2020, July of 2020. Jesus, so long ago. Who won this tournament? Eggs won this tournament. Let's go. Huevito. Who else was here? Destroyer was here. Mood, Tavito, Gan. Let's go. God, it's been a long time. The feels back. The sentimiento. Alright, let's go. Let's jump in. Let's jump into our next game, the final series of the broadcast. Let's go. Jumping into that final series. They're breaking free from the rift. They're breaking free. They found their way out. Is this a sign? Is Raynor coming back to us? Maybe. We'll see. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Leylines, we have our Argentinian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing clan NWCE. It is Boreal. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is XionS. It's been almost 5 years now. Despite the fact that I haven't casted him for 5 years, he has been quite active. You know, he rocks up. Oh, that was a bit of a pause. He does rock up in the chat from time to time. I say that it's been a couple of months since I've seen him in the chats, but he does rock up. Very passionate player. Very passionate for StarCraft. And we do have our initial opener, Double Gas. Okay, Double Gas opener out of our Terran player, Double Gas into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. Meanwhile, XionS back at home. We'll see how he does open up. XionS has been playing very peculiarly, is what I will say. Like, we've been seeing some odd builds here and there, some unique play, which is typically how XionS does things. Like, he typically, like, he can sometimes follow a player here or there, but for the most part, he does things his own way, his own style. I appreciate it. Does make for some interesting games. Even back in the Void Ray meta of PvZ, he would often go just mass carrier as quickly as possible. Wouldn't even bother with Tempest too much. The dark times. But now that we do have our initial opener, again, as we mentioned, Double Gas leads into a faster factory. Based on the factory placement, this could even be the beginning of a one base all-in. We could go for a 1-1-1 for a starport into just an all-in, or we could see a CC on the low ground. Probe is going to be hunted down. Scouting is going to be denied. And what do you have for us? What do you have? SME pulls back. It's going to be a Robo opener here out of XionS. Very safe play out of our Protoss player, going Robo. And 1-1-1, one base all in. Let's go. We're going for the one base all in. We have the reactor, we have the starport, no CC, no expansion. We've had a lot of short games today, I'll be honest. We haven't really had a lot of late game. We've had longer games, but we haven't seen like proper late game back and forth, like 4 base versus 4 base or 5 base versus 5 base. That just has not happened. Like, I think the last series was an example of that, where technically Cham got into Hive Tech and Cham got into like Lurkers and Greater Spire, but by no means was that like a macro game. Like, that was like, that was by no means. And it's not happening here either. Opening up Reactor Reaper Hellion with Liberator support. Interesting. Now, usually a one base all-in would consist of like a tech lab, early tank production. We get into a medevac to support the bio army, and you pull the boys. This is a unique amalgamation of units, and I'll say that, like, this is not like a proper composition. This is crazy. This is designed to wreak havoc in a mineral line. Like, Hellion Reaper can annihilate probes and annihilate mineral lines. Thankfully for XionS, safe build, immortal production. He has a shield battery. He is rallying his immortal, which is concerning. Oh, it's the observer rally. Okay. Pulls back. Does pull back. He spots the main army. He makes a second observer. He needs an immortal. Needs another immortal. Going for extra warpins. He's getting his second gateway. 39 is forged. Looks like once again he wants to rely on cannons. Does wall up. And with that second observer, again, he's just fanning out. Army moves in. We'll see, can our Terran player get into a mineral line? Oh, for now, deflected. So far, so good. Yeah, the wall is solid. Army's in position. Hellions, they try to rush in. And, oh, they barely get into the mineral line. Probes are under fire. Reapers, they bust in. They take out the Stalkers. 2 Stalkers go down. No major damage yet. Getting the third Stalker. Third Stalker does fall. But we need pro damage. We need economic damage here. We need some probe kills. So far, only 2 workers. That's not good enough. XionS defends. XionS, he does defend. And Boreal, he is expanding. But that is a very late expansion. This was not worth it. This was not worth it. He bled out 3 Hellions, 2 Reapers, and 1 Liberator. And what did he get done for it? He killed 3 probes. 3 workers went down. A couple of Stalkers. XionS, he does defend. He's in a better position, getting into +1, into charge, or into Twilight Council, into charge or blink. Silence, he holds. Does hold on. But they are now taking his natural. But again, this is just a really late expansion. Economically, you can see, I mean, look at the worker counts here. Here, the supply is not lying. The supply does tell a story. But they needed more damage. Now, Zion's playing it safe. He's just being more defensive, building up. I will say that Zion's third base is a little bit late and should soon be expanding. There we go. Third base is now on the way. Now Zion's can settle in. He can settle in, maintain a greater economy. He has the observer over the main army as well, so he knows that there's no move out. He knows he can skip warp-ins. Going for a second forge? Jesus. Going double forge, double upgrades. The one thing that Zion's is missing here is the... Oh, as the observer gets found. Nice snipe there from Boreal. I was going to say that the one thing we're missing here is a Bay for splash damage for Colossus, or even a Temple Archives for Storm. So splash damage is lacking, but for the time being, it's okay. Can get away with it. Our Terran player shouldn't move out without Stim. We have Stim on the way, combat shields. Getting to a 3-1-1 setup. Oh, the boys are dead. Okay, let's go. Mate, you start Stim, you pull the boys. It's okay. Stim is not going to be a factor, by the way. Maybe towards the tail end, but we have the two base all in. The boys have been pulled. Observer did scout this, did confirm, and Zion's is in a bit of trouble here. Zion's has he been skipping too many warp-ins? Going for a gateway explosion. This is the army. We have what, 5 stalkers and 1 immortal. Where are the warp-ins? We need an army. Zion's, has he been too greedy? He is fully saturated on 3 bases. Gateways are finishing up. He has to slow this down. Tanks do siege. Zion's, he needs as many warp-ins as possible. Without pushing forward. Stim is halfway done. Does spot the observer. Observer goes down. Gets 1 tank. Oh, he's bidding out too much. He bleeds out far too many stalkers. The immortal does go down. Zion's, he skipped his second immortal as well, just now getting it. Again, just very greedy play here by Zion's. But this all in, it's taking its time. And hey, I guess Stim is going to finish. Never let them know your next move. True. Never let him know. Throw down a 4cc, pull the boys. Let's go. Start up Stim. Throw down 3 factories and play mech. Aye. Get the fusion core, make medevacs. As he's pushing forward, gets up the robo, not bad. Mortal's gonna fire. Pylon goes down, depowers the shield battery. But again, is he taking too long? We're getting more and more warp-ins here. Charge is almost done. Ooh, Zion's getting supply blocked. Uh-oh. Yeah, big supply block here for Zion's. He cannot spend his money. Army sims in, takes out the immortal. Now he's coming in for the surround. Oh, doesn't commit. It doesn't commit in. Ideally, he would want to be catching reinforcements, but Zion's out of position. Tanks are exposed. He goes to the dive. Yeah, blinks in, gets 1. Takes down 1, takes down 2, gonna get all 3. And Zion's, he will hold. He will hold on, he will shut this down, takes out every single tank. Again, the all-in took too long. Oh my god, massive pickup, gets a full medevac. And there's no escape. There's no escaping this. Back at home, there's nothing. There's barely any saturation, barely any SCVs, barely an army. And here comes Zion's. Again, he was being too greedy. He was in trouble, but alas, the all-in took too long. You know, Boreal, he was just slowly pushing forward. Zion's had plenty of time to respond. Played it safe, played it slow. Zion's, he calmed down, didn't overreact. And he will kill the natural. Yeah, kills the natural base. Remember, he's got 1-1 upgrades. Trades with the SCVs, takes down the mineral line. And from here, Zion's, he can go for the kill. Flicks up into the high ground, takes down the tank, and GG gets called. Zion's takes the lead in the series. GG. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. XionS does take a lead. That was an intense game, though. Again, it was a crazy build out of Boreal. He initially went for a 1-base 1-1-1, essentially a 1-base all-in, into a late expansion, into a 2-base all-in where he pulled the boys, but with late stim, late combat shields. It almost worked. To be honest, it did almost work. I do think that XionS was vulnerable, but unfortunately took a little bit too long for Boreal to really get his tanks in position to threaten anything. The tanks, they were a little bit too far back. I do think that he could have been more assertive, especially considering there were barely any gateway units to defend. I do think he could have been more assertive, maybe gone within range of the Robo earlier on and pulled off an earlier just like attack and aggression, but with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. As we are now getting into game number 2. Here we go. Game 2 is going to be on Frostline. Rush Dark Shrine for Archon drops. Exactly. I mean that's a little bit more standard though, a little bit. But sure, I get you. I get you. So here we go. We're getting into our next game, getting into game 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have our red Terran player from Argentina, representing clan NWCE. It is Boreal. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, leading the series 1-0, representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is XionS. Take a fast Spire into Mass Roach Ravager. True. Let's go. Sun Tzu Art of War. In order to confuse your enemy, one must confuse thyself. I'm sure he said that. Sun Tzu. Very wise, very wise. Yes. Exactly. If you don't know what you're doing, how can your opponent know what you're doing? Exactly. It all makes sense. And hey, again, it almost worked. It almost worked. That was not the first time that we've seen Zion be overly greedy. Like, we saw XionS be overly greedy against Cham as well. That was on Whispers of Gold. So XionS, he's a little bit prone to that, definitely. At least we have observed that so far in these matches. XionS, he has to calm down. Boreal could try to take advantage of that. For now, double gas. Once again, double gas opener, going for a faster factory. We could see Boreal commit into 1-base play once again. But I'll be honest, I'm not too fond of the idea of going for 1-base play on Frostline. Frostline is a larger map, longer rush distance by ground. Something like 1-base play is going to hit a lot later. You're going to give your opponent a little more time to respond, a little more time to react. So we should be going for just a delayed CC. Should be. I'm not going to pretend I know the tendencies of our Terran player. I don't. It's been 5 years since I've casted him. A lot can change in 5 years. It's been a long time. Robo opener once again. XionS playing safe. Again, the power of a Robo opener is that it does allow you to make early game immortals and early observers for early defense. Ooh, meanwhile, we have once again a 1-1-1, but this time we have an add-on swap. You give us the early tanks. Okay, early Cyclone production. Okay, regardless, I do like this a lot more. Remember, last game we had a 1-1-1 to begin with on 1 base, but we went Reactored Reaper Hellion. Reactored Reaper Hellion instead. This time we have a Tech Lab swap, add-on swap into Tech Lab on the factory into Cyclone production, which is going to be a lot more robust, which has a lot more firepower, which has a lot more potential to break through a gateway army. So I'm liking the Cyclone Rush. From here we can go into a medevac to help micro, to help control, to help juggle units. Reapers are on the way. Regardless, hyper aggression from our Terran. Staying on 1 base. Here comes that Cyclone, going for a Liberator to support. Ooh, but yeah, he does get caught out there. Reaper does fall. Nice pickup. Here comes that Safety Immortal. And the Observer does get eyes on the Cyclone. It's going to be Cyclone into tank, into 2 more Raxes. This time a proper 1-base all-in. Let's go. Let us go. Again, our Terran player does confirm the Robo, does confirm the same opener. Once again, very safe play out of XionS. Now, last time we saw a single Immortal into a second Observer, which I was concerned by. We'll see how greedy XionS is. Going for a Twilight Council. Going down additional gateways. He does skip any additional Immortal production. Now, what's concerning about that is that XionS, he sees everything. He sees more Raxes. He sees another Rax on the way. He confirms there is no natural. We should be responding with another Immortal. Like, he's confirming one base all in. As XionS, he's seen enough. He has seen enough. Lock it on the Immortal. Liberator here into the mineral line. Stalkers, they will respond. Trading 1-for-1, a better trade for XionS. XionS getting into Blink, getting into the Forge, into +1. And Boreal, he should be hitting with Stim. Stim has begun, and we may choose to pull the boys with this. The boys might be pulled without any splash damage, without any Colossus, or without charge lots. I do think that pulling the boys can be quite difficult for the Protoss to deal with. But it does depend when this hits, right? Depends when this hits. We have a safety cannon on the way in the mineral line. Reaper dips in. Reaper confirms. Reaper gets eyes on all the gateways. Doesn't quite see the Twilight Council. And XionS is getting into Blink Stalkers. Now, Blink Stalkers can still be okay, but ideally, XionS, he wants to be active. Ooh, Observer gets caught. But XionS, he needs to be active with these Stalkers and needs to slow down the army in the center of the map. Picking away Marines, forcing sieges, maybe catching a tank. There we go, he does push. Thankfully, he does move out. Boys are being pulled. Here comes the Unsiege, here comes the push. And this is lined up with Stim. And we'll see what XionS can get. We'll see if he can catch the Cyclone, a tank, a medevac. The tank is under fire. Massive pickup. Oh my god. Whew, the micro, the control. But yeah, calm down. He saves the tank. Does save the tank, does save the Cyclone. Very nicely done. That could have been disastrous. XionS cutting back. Oh, gets a Cyclone. Bleeds out a Stalker. Stalkers are getting low. I wouldn't be opposed to pulling even more SCVs, to be honest. So trying to tank. Here comes Stim. I would say a bit of a wasted Stim there from Boreal. Does catch the Observer. Does spend a scan. Here comes a second Immortal reactively. And again, we're sieged up barely out of range. We're not quite threatening much here. This tank is... once again, barely out of range. The Robo, second Immortal has arrived. Charge is not done. And we are slowly pushing forward. Yeah, Robo's going to go down, but alas, the second Immortal does pop in. Tank shots on the Immortal. XionS catching reinforcements. Nice moves. XionS, he does catch reinforcements. Tank's moving further in. Boreal, he does have more urgency this time. A lot faster to go for the kill. But the the rally here is hurting him. The army's overstimmed. Oh god. Yeah, he's heavily overstimmed. We come in for the full surround. And XionS, he will clean this up. He shuts down all three tanks, takes down the bio as well. Took a little bit too long. Charge did finish in time. And XionS will completely shut down the walling. He will shut down the push. He cleans this up. Does defend in time. And again, I appreciate that XionS was active with those Stalkers. Again, forcing early stims. Picking up early Marines. So this time a much stronger response out of XionS. Gets his third base. And GG. GG gets called. XionS will take a 2-0 lead. Will take the series. Will look strong here in this final match. Let's go. GG, well played. We had a much more aggressive build this time from our Terran player, but likewise, XionS also had a much stronger defense this time. It was able to be more active, more proactive as well. It was able to slow down the push, slow down the all-in, and buy enough time for charge. GG. Whew. GG, well played. This leads us into game number 3. As a reminder, we are playing all 3 games regardless of the scoreline. All 3 games are being played. And we're getting into Whispers of Gold. Whispers of Gold, this is a much smaller map of the map pool. I do favor aggression on this map. The problem is that Boreal, he has been playing one base quite often so far in this series. I don't know if I like the idea of doing it 3 games in a row. I'm not too sure if I'm fond of that, but we'll see. We'll see as we're loading into Whispers of Gold, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our red Terran player from Argentina down in the series. We'll see if he can make a series out of this and put a point on the board. It is Boreal. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, sorry, the blue Protoss player from O'Neill, spotted Vicio from Lena, Peru. It is XionS. We go. Never doubt the triple 1 base all in. Homeowner and 3-point prove that it works. True, but they are animals though. They are animals. Homeowner and 3 points, but you're not wrong. Ay ay ay. No, no. It can work even at the highest level. As we'll keep an eye on our Terran player. Double gas once again. Double gas means a faster factory. This can lead once again into a 1 base all in, or we could go factory into an expansion. We'll see what we go for. Our eyes are on the Terran as he comes in with the scouts. Does tip in, does confirm. Show us what you got. Hello, SCV. Where are we going? SCV does fan out over towards the right-hand side. Do we go for a proxy starport? We could. Okay. Let him... Oh, proxy factory. Never mind. Going for the other one. Proxy factory. Let him cook. Proxy factory is on the way. This could be a proxy 111 into proxy tank. True. Could go for the tech lab. See what he does. Embrace. Likewise, XionS getting his natural. Just gate expand or gate type expand. Standard open out of our Protoss player. And do we go for the starport? Do we go for the tech lab? What do we go for? XionS once again, safe opener. Safe opener going for the robo. Leads into early immortal production. So safe build here out of XionS. There's the tech lab. There's the starport. Let's go. Going for the proxy 1-1. We're going for the tech lab. That should be for tank production. Medevac as well for the starport, or even just liberators. Yeah, just tank lib. Let's go, Bappy. Let's go. Pylon already under fire here. Losing some shields. Now just fully saturated on 1 base. There we go. Tank is on the way. Who proxies a tank, Bappy? Boreal, Bappy. Let's go. Send it as the starport is finishing up. And we'll see if we're able to get on top of that robo ahead of time. Remember, it is going to be Observer first. Observer first out of XionS, not Immortal, is going for a safety shield battery. They're still on our Tosis pylon, keeping everything powered. That pylon is going to be vulnerable. Here comes that Liberator. The freedom is coming. He's got freedom. And the boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled. This is going to be lined up with the first tank. Second tank's on the way. Observer, will he see this? He will not. He will miss the boys. The SCVs barely avoid that Observer. Observer doesn't see much. We'll get eyes on the Marines. Just barely. Spots the bio. Oh, he got a second. Oh, he got a second Observer. He got a second Observer. No Immortal? 0 Immortals this time. XionS, he is not ready for this. There should be an Immortal on the way, but he got a second Observer. He's crazy. He's throwing down shield batteries. I mean, he scouts no expansion. He realizes something is wrong. Yeah, something is wrong. Something is missed. Now he sees the army. It's all or nothing for the Terran. Oh, a little bit early siege. It is an early siege. Once again, he's playing a little bit too safe here. We gotta send it. We gotta keep going. We can't take our time. Nice tank shots. Nice tank shots. Immortals on the way. It's halfway done. There's the scan. Again, we're just slowly leapfrogging forward here with the tanks and liberators. getting within range. The Immortal is going to pop out. Tank is still not within range. Oh my, Miss Rally. Brutal Miss Rally. Rallies into the army. Second Liberator has arrived. Yo, slow and steady. He's on top of the Robo. Oh my god. Takes down the Stalker. Robo is going to go down. Only one Immortal. That's still that's still a good thing here for Boreal. Takes down the Robo. Behind this, gateways are on the way, getting to charge. Tanks are moving in. I still would appreciate more urgency, especially with these two Liberators. These Stalkers can't really engage. Like we can be more aggressive with this. So there we go. Does push forward, takes down the shield batteries, so within range. And massive shot to the Stalkers. Two more Stalkers go down. And XionS is up against the wall here. As the shield batteries are falling. Liberators now going to be covering the ramp. And there's no way behind this army. And again, XionS, who was just so greedy here in a sense. To go for the two observers. Delayed is Immortal, and you got the one out. Nexus is going to fall. And can he break that? Geez, there's so many gateways. Can he break the main? Can he break the main base? There are going to be sentries. Force fields are available. Yeah, slowly pushing his way in. Charge is now done. But that's going to be 3 Liberators. That's a lot of freedom. That's a lot of freedom, Pat. Getting on top of the gateways. Again, the slow siege. The Venn diagrams, they're coming. They're coming, Pat. I do think at this point he can get on top of the ramp. Like, he can go up the ramp even with his tanks. As more zealots are building up. Waiting for extra warp ins. A couple of Stalkers as well. And the Stalkers, they cannot engage. Remember, they don't have Blink. No Blink for XionS. Gateways are falling. Yeah, brutal tank shots popping up. And soon it's going to be all or nothing for XionS. He's going to try to get the surround. Dropping on the low ground. True, there is that War Prism. He has micro potential. As he's going to try to collapse on this. And he will catch a reinforcing tank. Not bad. Oh, good. Does he get it? Barely does. Tank goes down. He collapses in. It goes for the dive. Takes down the second tank. Liberation. They take down the Stalkers. Zealots is not enough. Not enough Zealots. Not enough Immortals. Massive pig off. Immortal goes down. And Boreal, he does it. He breaks through. The one base all in. Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm. One base all in. This time with the proxy. This time it hits much earlier, much sooner. GG gets called. And Boreal, he does put a point on the board. Does take a game. GG. What an animal. GG, well played. Does put a point on the board. This time a lot more committed here, going for the proxy across the map. Likewise though, XionS, if you remember, he did skip his Immortal. Both game 1 and game 2 he went Observer, then Safety Immortal. Here he did go double Observer. He did delay his Immortal production, which meant he only got 1 out in time. Likewise, it was a late scout as well. He did not probe scouts. True. There was no probe scout from our Protoss player. So he had a later realization of what was going on and what was happening. And with that, our Terran able to fight back. GG, well played. Whew, oh my god. And with that, we have our group wrapping up. We're going to be wrapping up our group here as we are concluding our coverage of Group C. Here we go. We had a wild broadcast. Again, as I mentioned before, it continued to be the case. We didn't really get any macro. I'll be honest, there were a lot of all-ins, a lot of cheese, a lot of aggression. We did have some longer games, but usually those are longer games because of failed all-ins and failed aggression from one of the players. I'm referring to Cham and XionS, even XionS and Ades as well. So if we had some longer games, it was typically because the player failed with their all-in and the game just continued from there. And we didn't really have a proper macro back and forth. Not in Group C. It was crazy. It was wild. Group C for cheese, baby, for cheese. True. Even Cham was going for a lot of all-ins himself as well. Not wrong, not wrong. So GG, well played. Again, shout out to our 2 players making it out of the group. That is Cham and XionS. Cham and XionS, they make it out of the group. This is a round robin group and all players played against each other. There were more matches played, but we are just going to, there were a lot of matches played out, and we are just having a bit of a highlight run of Group C. Of course, Temi had more matches, Arez had more matches, XionS as well. But we at least featured each of the players once. Some of the other matches were a little bit more one-sided, and I did at least want to feature Cham and XionS. And hey, we even got to be introduced to Arez, Temi, and Boreal as well. So do appreciate it. GG. GG, well played. With that, that concludes our coverage of Group C, and tomorrow we're going to be back with Group D. Tomorrow we will return. Group D is going to be a wild one. Group D, I would say, is maybe the group of death. We have a lot more competition. Group A and Group B were a lot more one-sided just because there was a clear distinction between the skill of the players. What I mean by that, Group A was featuring Special, Juanito. Special, he was the clear favorite, and the others were more amateurs or semi-pros, so they couldn't really contest. Group B was similar. Group B, we had Akeron. Akeron was the clear favorite, and we did have Peruano and Daryl, but they are GM, that is true, but they couldn't really threaten him too much. Group C, Cham, clear favorite. I would have said that XionS could threaten him, but again, XionS, he is out of practice. XionS, he is out of shape and out of form, so Cham was a little more favored and didn't drop a single map. Coming into Group D, I would say, is harder to call, kind of. I mean, Group D is going to be an interesting one, as we do switch our group over here. Group D is going to be featuring a player that I haven't casted in a long time. Actually, I want to confirm once again. So we're going to be featuring some modern players. We have Mute. Mute is a more modern pro player. He is, I would say, one of, yeah, actually, sorry, I forgot about Mute, because again, he's a newer player on the scene. I would say that Mute is the best Protoss in Peru right now. I would say he's in stronger form than XionS. I think that XionS in his prime would maybe be greater than Mute right now, but XionS, he's right now still recovering. So Mute, he is very much so the favorite player in this group. Next to him, we have Luciano. Luciano, a Terran player from Chile. I would say that he's the best Terran in all of Chile right now. Again, Harpy has retired, so Harpy isn't really, or Jarpy, Harpy isn't really a factor anymore. Likewise, we have players like Dastan stepping away, Darkness stepping away, Luciano. He is a player that I'm a big fan of, and I look forward to seeing some Luciano. And a wild card is going to be Bombilla. Bombilla is a wild card. This is the player that I wanted to check. When was the last time I casted Bombilla? Hold on. I last casted Bombilla in 2020, mate. 2020 Battle of the Americas in November of 2020. It's also been almost 5 years. Almost 5 years since I've casted Bombilla, so it's been a very long time. And I'm excited. I want to see how he looks, what form he's in, and how he compares to everyone right now, because Bombilla is also a player that again has long since retired. Quickly checking his history. When was the last time he competed here? Hold on. I think I looked him up last time. Yeah. He last really competed back in 2021. He technically played in like LTK power rankings in 2022, but I don't think I count that. I didn't. That's like an in-house tournament sort of thing. But yeah, he last really competed in tournaments like back in 2020, 2021. So it's been a long time. It's been years since he has really been at that competitive form. Because of that, he's going to be a wild card. I don't favor him to make it out of the group, but like he's definitely a veteran. He's a veteran of the scene, veteran of the region. He has that experience behind him, and he does have more experience than Luciano as well. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the old man does. Let's go. I'm ready for some Bombilla, papi. Been a long time. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting group, and again, that's gonna be tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna be covering Group D. That is the plan. At least one, but yeah, exactly. Tabito in the chat. Likewise, we're also going to be covering some of Tabito's matches as well. That'll be next week, most likely next week. Next week we're going to be covering Group E, F, G. the rest of the group stage. Hopefully, I say hopefully, because I do know that still a lot of matches haven't been played. A lot of matches haven't been submitted yet, so I'm still waiting for that. So we'll keep an eye on these groups. Like Group E, there's been barely any matches played. Eggs hasn't really played too many of his series. So I might wait to cast Group E. Group F for the most part is concluded. Yo, Davito, what's going on between Neo and Draconics? Like, I want to see that match. Like, I see Neo versus Draconics hasn't played, Ryojin versus Draconics, Ryojin versus Vortex. Like, there's a lot of really good matches there. Actually, I would say Group F is maybe Group F is the group of death. Actually, like, there's some high quality players in Group F. Jesus, like Group F is crazy. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get to Group F. Very competitive group. But for now, though, we're wrapping up. For now, we're done for the day. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I'm going to head off and get some rest, get some food, and work on some thumbnails. I've been falling behind a little bit. So there's a lot of work to do here on the CranKy Ducklings. So I'm most likely going to be working on some thumbnails and trying to catch up on work behind the scenes on social media and posting VODs as well. Speaking of posting VODs, if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoy the StarCraft, then consider following us. !socials in the chat. They don't want to play each other. Make them play. I want to see Draconics contra Neo, baby. Make them play. SMH. But here we go. This is the rest of our schedule here. Again, tomorrow we're going to be live Friday morning with the HSL Group D. Later on this evening at 8 p.m. KST, we're going to be live with the Rex March Madness. That is going to be, we're going to be featuring players like Clem. We're going to be casting Clem, Byun, Cure, and Shin. So 3 Terrans and a Zerg. That is later tonight in the Rex March Madness. Tomorrow night we have the Pondcast. That is our weekly talk show where we do discuss StarCraft. We go over all the news, we go over all the events and all the results of the week. So if you want to be up to date with StarCraft, we got you covered there. Last week we covered the news regarding Maru. He was recently discharged from the military. Likewise, we also caught up on the Loco interview. We caught up on I Am Krakow, on the end of I Am Katowice, as well as many other news over the course of the week. So a lot was covered. Going to be covering even more this week. Likewise, we have KSL over the weekend, MSO, STC, SCL, Firegrow Cup, plenty of content over the week, as always. If you want to tune in, then check us out. Wait, yeah, see, Bappy. I see someone that didn't tune into the podcast. But yes, news was released regarding that. News was released. Otherwise, yeah, with that, we're going to be wrapping up. Here. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, we have plenty of content throughout the week. If you see something that you like here, if you cannot watch it live, then check out the VODs, ! Socials for the link to YouTube. We do post VODs on YouTube on a daily basis. Every single day we have VODs on YouTube, plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft on the horizon. Otherwise, you can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all things CranKy Ducklings. You can also support us via Patreon. It's all good. That's why we have VODs, baby. That's why we have VODs. But you can check out our Patreon. Patreon is designed to fund our tournaments, and you can see our current events that we do support, that we do fund through Patreon. Sea Duckling Open, Macedon Open, and Sparkling Tuna Cup, 3 events on a regular basis. And we did recently hit our new goal. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for all the support. All the money goes directly to the players, goes directly to the community, to the StarCraft scene. So thank you so much for all the support. It's thanks to you that we're able to host our events on a regular basis and boost the prize pool and help out those players as well. Our next goal is listed here, still a ways away to our next goal, but eventually I do hope to help pay out admins and casters. I would love for us to get there for Patreon. For now though, 100% of the money goes towards the players, 100% goes towards the competitors. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Again, our next broadcast is going to be later on tonight. It's going to be in 8 hours. 8 hours time, we're going to be live with the Rex March Madness. Otherwise, in under 24 hours, we're going to be live with the HSL. So yeah, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to be wrapping up here for the time being. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who is live? Who is streaming at the moment? Who can we raid? Let's have a look here. I would like to stream myself, but there's a little work to catch up on, and I do want to try to sleep before the Rex March Madness, so I want to get a little bit of rest at least. Until then, Patches is alive. Huevito, Eggs is live as well. Yo, we could raid Eggs and pester him to play his HSL matches. I think I might do that actually. Huevito. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys have a great week. And take care. Take care, everyone. Until next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. Till next time.